Black community. The voice of the Black community. Get us with an antenna on WBQP 12.1.
Crystal clear.
The station that cares.
Go to Play Store and download the WBQP app on your phone, tablet, or watch. The voice of the Black community.
WBQP TV streaming on Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku TV, and other streaming devices.
You can get WBQP by downloading the phone app or typing RDO.2 WBQP in your browser.
WBQP.
You can find us on your favorite platforms.
We are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, the voice of the Black community.
To watch WBQP on your computer, go to WBQPTV.com or go to Google and type in WBQP, the voice of the Black community.
Get WBQP radio on your phone, Alexa, or CarPlay. Your community station, wherever you go.
Alexa, enable the WBQP skill and play WBQP Pensacola.
Listen to WBQP radio in your car on CarPlay or Android Auto while you're on the go.
Now it's Wednesday, Hump Day. Have a wonderful Wednesday with Morning with Vernon.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it out.
Start your day with Mornings with Vernon on WBQP, Monday through Friday from 6:30 to 9 a.m. Watch on Channel 12 and listen on WBQP Radio on your phone, Alexa, or CarPlay. WBQP is your information station.
Good morning to my Facebook friends, Lois Bless Pruitt, Janice Womack Ewing, Alan Young, Jeannie Costin, and everybody else this morning. Let's get to work.
It's Wednesday, Hump Day. Have a wonderful Wednesday with Morning with Vernon.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it out.
All right, Morning with Vernon. Good morning with Vernon. Good morning, Lois. How you doing this morning? Happy Wisdom Wednesday to you, sugar. Yeah, coffee time. Coffee time. Coffee with Vernon. All right, y'all. All righty. Morning. It's Hump Day, y'all. Wednesday. It is Wednesday, July the 8th, y'all. Wednesday, July the 8th. Yeah, what can we say? This month is off to a racing start this morning, y'all. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everybody know how to get everybody, I'm assuming, this morning. But it is Wednesday, y'all. Let's see, can we find a good
Wednesday.
Hump Day? Yeah.
Hump Day. Have a wonderful Wednesday with Morning with Vernon.
Yeah, Hump Day. Let's start the day off with a prayer, okay? If you don't mind, we're gonna start off of the day with a prayer with Dr. Gatson this morning. Dr. Gatson, will you lead us in prayer this morning, sir? Can you do that for us this morning? I would appreciate it, okay? Thank you,
Father
sir.
God, we lift our eyes up unto the hills from whence cometh your help, knowing that your help cometh from above. And so, dear God, we come to petition you this morning and to seek you out for the blessings of life. Not only for this morning, but for this afternoon and for the last watch of the day. We seek you out for the blessings of life. Now, Lord, ordain your blessings upon us, upon this waiting congregation, under the sound of my weak voice. We pray in the belovedness of Jesus the Christ, our Lord, our Savior, our God. Amen.
Amen. And a few good women too. All right, y'all. Good morning for Vernon this morning. I want to say good morning to Mrs. Lois Bless Pruitt, Mrs. Janet Womack, Mr. Alan Young. This morning. Just want to send a special
Good
shout
morning
out
to my Facebook friends, Lois Bless Pruitt, Janice Womack Ewing, Alan Young, Jeannie Costin, and everybody else this morning. Let's get to work.
All right, y'all, let's get to work this morning. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about today, okay? What the show going to be about this morning. I'm just going to cover just a few things this morning. And we already covered our morning prayer this morning, and we are not going to go over the morning's prayer again, but I think that's going to be a little bit different for us. We're going to get to Cheryl in a little bit. Cheryl going to give us a little bit of weather this morning, okay? And then hopefully we're going to get, I got my girl, she's going to tell us a little bit about the traffic when we come back. We're going to get into the lottery, hopefully. And if we have time, we're going to do our sports report. And I got a new feature here, y'all, I want to instill. African American news that you can use, okay? Talk about news that affect directly to us Black folks. And then we're going to hopefully talk about, get some community stuff in here that's involved in here, okay? Community announcement. Hopefully we can get it. I want to get in a motivational moment this morning, if you will. When I come back, that's what I think I'm going to do. But before the day's end, though, we're going to talk about Black history, okay? We're going to get into some of the news you can use. At 7:30, we're going to be talking to Mr. Ellison Bennett, and with his community report. He's gonna talk about what's all going on in the community. At 7:45, we're going to be talking to Ms. Jill Daggs, okay? 8 o'clock time frame, we're going to be talking to Mr. Charles D. Thornton, if he's going to come in. And 8:30, we got a very special guest this morning at 8:30, Mr. Kenneth Stefan Norman. He running for governor of Florida. Yesterday, we had Mrs. Dottie on yesterday. She was running for governor. So we got a lot of folks in the governor's race. I just want you to know about it. So I want to say good morning to everybody under the sound of the hound's voice this morning. I tell you what, I like to get a little bit of a motivational moment in here, if would allow me to do some motivation here, okay? Just so we get motivated this morning. How about that? How about getting some little bit of motivation in on it this morning? Okay?
You know what I hear? I hear the clock ticking. And time waits for no man. Life goes by. And it goes by quick. Don't waste those years. Don't waste them. Live them. I want you to be terrified of sitting on the sidelines and doing nothing. Waking up in 6 days or 6 weeks or 6 years or 60 years and being no closer to your goal. You've made no progress. That is the nightmare. That is what you really need to be afraid of, being stagnant. So, get up and go. That idea isn't going to execute itself. That book isn't going to write itself. Those weights out in the gym, they aren't going to move themselves. You have to do it, and you have to do it now. Don't wait anymore. Don't think anymore. Don't plan anymore. Don't contemplate anymore. Don't make any more excuses or justifications. Don't rationalize anything else. No. Take the risk. Take the gamble. Take the first step. Take action now. No complacency. No backing off. No slack whatsoever.
No more dreaming. Dreaming is over. I need specifics. What are you doing on Monday? What are you doing on Tuesday? What are you doing on Wednesday? You need to be very specific. It's time to put your pieces together of your puzzle. You need to be in a big damn hurry. Time is running out on you. There's 86,400 seconds in a day. The separator between me and you and people that win and lose is what we do with those seconds. And you're too slow. You're too casual. You think too much. You need to get in a hurry because there's an end to your life and it's coming sooner than you think. It goes by in a flicker and at some point it's going to be over.
And we want to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to start living life with a sense of urgency and using what we've got, using ourselves up, sharing what we brought into the universe to share. Because if we don't, nobody else will. Stop wasting valuable time. If we begin to live our lives as if each day were our last, our lives will take on a whole new meaning.
When you die, when life is over for you, I don't want you to have one idea left in you. I don't want one dream left in you. When you die, I want you to go for broke. Every CD that you were supposed to do, every book you were supposed to write, I want you to get everything out your system.
We get one shot at this gig right here, life. So do not wait. Go forward. No more waiting for the perfect moment, and no more indecision, and no more lies. Take the action. Get out of bed. Get your feet on the ground. Step forward. Give every day everything you've got. Every ounce of energy, every bead of sweat, every drop of blood until your last breath. And don't let another day slip by.
All right, y'all, motivate yourself in some shape, form, or fashion. All right, y'all, I tell you what I'm going to do. Let's go to Cheryl for a minute and see what she has in terms of the weather this morning. Cheryl, what's going on in the weather front this
Vernon.
morning?
Here's your WBQP weekly weather forecast. We're in for another hot and humid week across the Gulf Coast. Wednesday stays hot with partly cloudy skies and a 40% chance of rain. Look for a high of 92 degrees with a low of 79.
All right, Sugar, thank you. How about Lola? Lola, can you give me a traffic report this morning, Sugar? What's going on in the traffic world, Lola?
Good morning, Vernon. Here's your WBQP traffic report for Wednesday, July 8th. The morning commute is off to a steady start across the Pensacola area, with moderate traffic on Interstate 10. Drivers can expect the usual slowdowns approaching the I-110 interchange, Davis Highway, and Pine Forest Road during the busiest part of the morning rush. Traffic is moving at normal speeds along Highway 29, 9 Mile Road, and Mobile Highway, although delays of a few minutes are possible near major intersections and commercial areas. Davis Highway remains busy around the University Town Plaza and the Medical District, so plan a little extra travel time if you're heading that way. If you're traveling across the Pensacola Bay Bridge toward Gulf Breeze or Pensacola Beach, traffic is flowing smoothly this morning, with only light congestion near the bridge approaches. Downtown Pensacola is experiencing its typical weekday traffic, especially around Halifax Street, Garden Street, and Government Street. Be alert for pedestrians, cyclists, and delivery vehicles throughout the downtown business district. Weather conditions are warm and humid, with a chance of scattered afternoon thunderstorms. If showers develop later today, slow down on wet roads, increase your following distance, and use your headlights when visibility is reduced. Remember to buckle up, avoid distracted driving, and give yourself a few extra minutes to reach your destination safely. This is Lola reporting for WBQP TV and WBQP Radio Traffic Report. Have a safe and productive Wednesday.
All right, Lola, thank you. Let's go over to Orion and see if he got anything that's good for us for sports this morning. Orion, what's going on this week in sports, man?
Good morning, Vernon. I'm Orion, and welcome to the WBQP Sports Report. Here's what's happening in sports this week. The sports world continues to focus on the 2026 FIFA World Cup as the tournament moves into the knockout stage. The round of 16 is underway, with powerhouse nations battling for a place in the quarterfinals. The United States is set for a high-stakes matchup against Belgium, while Brazil, England, France, Argentina, Spain, and Portugal continue their quest for the World Cup title. Over in London, Wimbledon is heating up as the tournament reaches the quarterfinals. Tennis fans are watching Novak Djokovic continue his pursuit of another Grand Slam championship, while Naomi Osaka delivered one of the tournament's biggest upsets by defeating top-seeded Aryna Sabalenka to advance. Defending champion Jannik Sinner and Coco Gauff remain among the players to watch this week. On the baseball diamond, Major League Baseball enters an important stretch before next week's All-Star festivities. Teams across both leagues are looking to build momentum as the race for division titles continues through the summer. In the WNBA, the regular season continues with several key matchups after the New York Liberty captured the 2026 Commissioner's Cup Championship. Teams are now turning their attention back to the race for playoff positioning. Locally, Pensacola sports fans can continue supporting the Pensacola Blue Wahoos as they battle through the minor league baseball season. The Pensacola Ice Flyers continue preparing for the upcoming hockey season, while the UWF Argonauts are gearing up for fall sports and football camp later this summer. And finally, this is also a busy week for motorsports, cycling, and golf, with the Tour de France continuing across France and racing fans following another exciting weekend of competition. That's your WBQP Sports Report for the week of July 6th. I'm Orion. Thank you for watching WBQP TV, the voice of the Black community. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time on WBQP Sports. Over to you, Vernon.
Thank you, Ryan. I need to go over to Naomi, y'all. Naomi, you're going to give us some brief stuff on news you can use in the Black community, y'all. And also, I got a little more detailed report as well, some stuff that happening in Black America. Naomi, can you tell me what's happening on the news
Good
scene?
morning, Vernon. This is Naomi with your WBQP African American News, bringing you the stories making an impact across Black America this week. Our top story: the National Urban League has declared a state of emergency for Black America in its annual State of Black America report. The organization warns that voting rights, civil rights protections, and diversity initiatives face significant challenges, while urging increased civic engagement and voter participation ahead of the 2026 elections. Meanwhile, the NAACP has announced a $20 million nationwide voter engagement campaign as the country prepares for the upcoming midterm elections. The organization says the initiative will focus on increasing voter registration, protecting ballot access, and encouraging participation in communities across the nation. As America marks its 250th anniversary, prominent civil rights leaders and community advocates are calling for renewed efforts to strengthen democracy, protect voting rights, expand educational opportunities, and promote economic equality. Their message emphasizes that the next chapter of American history should include greater opportunity for every community. In education, historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, continue expanding opportunities for students. One recent example is a new accelerated law school partnership between Grambling State University and Southern University Law Center, creating additional pathways into the legal profession. And finally, Black-owned businesses continue making headlines nationwide, with entrepreneurs and nonprofit organizations securing new contracts, expanding tourism initiatives, and creating jobs that strengthen local economies and communities. Those are this week's headlines affecting the African American community. I'm Naomi, and this has been your WBQP African American News, Black news you can use. Stay informed, stay engaged, and have a wonderful day. Over to you, Vernon.
Okay, staff, thank you. I appreciate that, y'all. I want to thank Naomi, and I need to thank Miss Lola, Mr. Orion, and Miss Cheryl, and Dr. Gatson for getting us started off this morning. And I need to go also while I'm here, while I'm doing this, I get a little community announcement because sometimes I forget to get that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick community announcement before we go to a commercial break and everything, okay? right, y'all. Before I go to commercial break, when we come back, we're gonna talk about some headline news and also some news you can use. Today, from the African American community, we're gonna be getting a little bit into Black history. If we have time, we're gonna cover a little more in details about the community announcement. At 7:30, we're gonna have Mr. Ellison Bennett coming on with his community report on his community news. And at 7:45, we're going to have Miss Jill Daggs coming on. And hopefully, if quick doesn't arrive, we got the other side with Charles Thorne. He would join me around the 8 o'clock time frame. And at 8:30, we're going to have a very special guest, Mr. Kenny Stefan Norman for governor. You're going to know a little more about these folks. But anyway, just tell everybody every Monday through Friday at 6:30 right here on WBQP TV, WBQP Radio, running in the zone. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it now.
Navigating heart care can be challenging. Baptist makes it better with the latest treatments and innovations and the area's largest, most experienced heart team ready to create a care plan just for you. All when you need us most. Let Baptist make it better. Baptist Healthcare.
I remember these. Will I have the money to send my kid to college? Well, that's specific. How long has that been there? 7-letter word for a bank that helps you reach your goals.
Synovus. Order for Synovus?
Thank you.
Are you Synovus?
Yes.
Are you gonna ask or should I?
A solid financial future doesn't happen by chance. Let's talk about your potential today.
Vernon Sugar, it's Wednesday. Don't forget to check those lotto tickets from last night. I know you are lucky because you won me.
Vernon, it's Wednesday. You better check your lotto tickets. Hope you win.
Vernon, it's Wednesday. You better check your lotto tickets. Hope you win.
Hope you win. Don't forget about me.
For 75 years, Baptist has brought innovative care to our community. Through our Andrews Institute, we continue the legacy by providing advanced total joint care, restoring mobility, strength, and quality of life. Baptist Healthcare, here for you then, now, and always.
Why wait? With Penn Air's fast approvals and low rates, getting a car loan is easier than ever. Penn Air Credit Union. Join us.
Choosing the right school is one of the most important decisions you'll make for your child. At Jacqueline Harris Preparatory Academy, we provide a safe, supporting environment where students grow academically and personally. With strong core instruction and unique programs, students gain confidence, creativity, and real-world skills. At JHPA, we live by our motto, enter to learn, depart to serve. Enroll today and prepare your child to soar.
Keep growing.
Remember where you came from. It's the foundation of who you are.
Show up for others.
That's been our approach at Penn Air for 90 years. Penn Air Credit Union, 90 years strong.
WBQP salutes the spirit of America, celebrating 250 years of freedom. Happy birthday, USA!
Hello, I'm David Williams, District 3 Representative, seeking re-election to the Escambia County School Board. 4 years ago, I said, together we can make a difference. Today, I'm proud to say, together we have made a difference, thanks to your trust. And because of you, we do not have any failing schools. Our schools are safer, we've closed the achievement gap, and our students are college and career ready. I'm asking for your support again to re-elect me so that we continue the work that we started 4 years ago. Please visit my website at davidwilliams3.com to learn more about my initiatives I have accomplished and the ones I will pursue over the next 4 years. Early voting is August 8th through the 15th, and the primary is August 18th. Your vote is essential to keeping our community moving forward. Thank you.
This is Prayer Perspectives by J.O. Gatson on your WBQP.
This is J.O. Gatson on this Wednesday. As a matter of fact, this is our wonderful Wednesday, where we come before the Lord and sacred words of prayer, just bless him for his glory. Let us pray. Father God in heaven, we come on this wonderful Wednesday, dear God, to bless you and to worship you and to pray over our families and to pray over ourselves and to pray over those that we're connected to. And so, Father, we take it all in stride because you're God. You know us better than we know ourselves, dear God. So we're claiming this wonderful Wednesday to your glory and honor for the edification of your people. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Hi, Vernon. Here's your WBQP weekly weather forecast. We're in for another hot and humid week across the Gulf Coast. Wednesday stays hot with partly cloudy skies and a 40% chance of rain. Look for a high of 92 degrees with a low of 79. Thursday continues the summer pattern with a high of 93 degrees, a low of 80, and another 40% chance of scattered showers. And we wrap up the week on Friday with highs near 92 degrees, overnight lows around 80, and a 40% chance of rain. Overall, expect hot afternoons, warm nights, and daily opportunities for passing showers. This is Cheryl Mulrain, and that's your weekly weather forecast on WBQP TV.
Soul, jazz, blues, and R&B, celebrating black music history. All month long, sing along. June is Black Music.
WBQP celebrates the artists, the legends, and the sound of a generation. Join us all June long for Black Music Month, where the music never stops.
Hello, I'm Dr. Isaac Williams, and I'm running for School Board District 3. Our community is asking for change, and I agree. District 3 deserves change. District 3 deserves a representative who will listen, communicate, and stay connected to the community. Our students need every opportunity to succeed. Our teachers need support, and our community and parents need a voice. I've spent my time as a servant leader in the Marine Corps, as a pastor, as a community activist, and I'm prepared now to serve District 3 on day one. And I will be honored to earn your support and your vote on August 18th. God bless you. God keep you.
Good morning to my Facebook friends, Lois Bless Pruitt, Janice Womack Ewing, Alan Young, Jeannie Costin, and everybody else this morning. Let's get to work. Jeannie, read my lips, honey. Vernon is the one. Now go run and tell that.
It's time for mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it out.
All right, y'all. Good morning. Vernon is the one, right? Morning with Vernon. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is a wonderful Wednesday. Lois, I tell you that. I haven't been outside and don't know what the physical weather looked like, other than what I hear from Cheryl this morning. But you know what they say about weather people. You know what you can tell when they're lying. You just watch their lips move. You know how that goes. Yep, I tell you. All right, y'all. It is about 7. Excuse me. About 7 o'clock. And you know what we do every day. And I want to get into some headline news for you this morning, okay? So let's go to news and see what we got this morning, okay? All righty, y'all. Good morning.
Good morning, Cutie Vernon. It is great to be with you today. What's happening in the news in Pensacola today?
Live from the WBQP News Desk, this is your headline news summary. Now here is Vernon Watson with his version of today's headlines.
All right, y'all, let's go to my version of the headlines this morning, if you will, okay? All right, just to tell you, everything shining ain't gold, y'all. This man here, let's talk about what's happening with this Pensacola man. He pulled a gun out on an Uber driver. 5 shots in it. Good thing the Uber driver did not get hit. He did not get hit this morning, but on yesterday. His black ass need to go to jail for forever, if you ask me. This happened around 3 o'clock yesterday on the corner of Lillian Highway and 52nd Avenue. His name is Quan LaShawn McKinney. Black folk, where do y'all get these names from? I tell you all, y'all give me some names like Tom, Dick, and Harry, something I can pronounce. Quaquan, Quayesa, Shaquan, I don't know, 32 years old, and they charged him with aggravated assault with a weapon and possession of weapon by convicted felons. I guess that's why he robbed the bank. We're trying to rob. And Uber drivers ain't got, what they gonna do? Get his cash out? Uber driver don't got no money. They pay that stuff by card. Okay. Then they're gonna charge him with burglary and property damage and so forth. Okay. Y'all help me out. Okay. Help me out. We talking about people that do dumb things and dumb crimes. Okay. All right. Let's go on to the next story here. Here is over in Daphne, Alabama. There, Daphne and New Hope Temple. They shut down some housing stuff over there. I know you don't care about that. I don't either. So let's move on to the story. That's over in Daphne, Alabama. But these are the headlines. But they got some high energy housing stuff over there as well. But let's talk about something more important. The state trying to move to decertify the ARC Baldwin County after safety concerns over there, y'all. So if you live over in Baldwin County, you might want to be very concerned about that story. Okay, so these are for my Baldwin County viewers. All right, let's move on to another story. Now, the Florida courts called for a judge to be fined, okay, because he was donating to a left-wing cause. He donated $30,000 for so they say, and so they're trying to for every way possible trying to get him for some reason. Now, y'all tell me y'all help me understand all of that nonsense. But that's what's in the news. That's what's in the news today. All right. Let's see here. I think I should have started with my local news, but I got some other news here that the your boy over there is launching some strikes against Iran. Okay, Iran. He launched some strikes against Iran this morning. I thought they're supposed to be in a peace talk. All of that kind of stuff. So now they're fighting back and forth. I don't know, y'all. Y'all help me understand all of this stuff. So you want to get the story, get the details. Get the details on your NBC news, on your national news source that can kind of help you out there. Okay. All right. Let's move on to another story that's hitting the headlines that people are talking about. The state seek a $1.4 trillion lawsuit against social media. Okay. You know, I guess I figured that they got Zuckerberg and all those social media empires that got plenty of money. Now they're trying to sue the state of Florida. Is trying to sue the state, trying to sue Meta, which is Facebook. They're trying to sue them for $1.4 trillion. I often wondered, how did they come up with the numbers? Okay, when they do stupid stuff like that, how do they numbers works out? I don't know. Okay, but anyway, I want to get back to that. I want to get back to that judge. I think that that judge trying to find that judge again, y'all. It's only because the Florida Supreme Court called for a state judge, to be fined after she donated almost $30,000 to a left-wing candidate in the cause, and now they trying to get her. Okay, she admitted to making over 900 donations and $29,000 in donations since 2016. Now, they say that her actions violated Florida traditional canon and banned judges from making political donations. So, y'all, stay tuned to that story, if you will, and we'll see exactly what will happen in the future. All right, let's move on to a local story here, if you don't mind. I didn't have time to check the news reel this very morning, okay? But Pensacola Police Department have not, as of last night, before I went to bed, have not apprehended those individuals that was involved in that over the weekend shooting yet, but they're still seeking it. And the new post chief Winstrom is thinking that Chief Winstrom is thinking that the shooting has to do with the retaliation that goes back for a long time. And so if one retaliates against the other, you know what that means. It's going to be more retaliation as it goes along. All right, another national story you're going to keep an eye on. Which affects a lot of people. If you are a student loan borrower, if you will, okay, they had a plan. They got 2 weeks. These people have 2 weeks left. Not say 2 weeks. Have a few, maybe a few weeks, maybe more than 2 weeks, to make some kind of decision. Student borrower, they got a program which I don't know a lot about it, but it calls a SAVE plan, which means saving on a valuable education. And they have only a few more weeks to lead the program. Now, people that in that program, the borrowers, if you will, they receive a notice from the loan services that they have a limited time to find another plan. Trump canceled that SAVE plan last month. And so people that's on that program had 90 days to pick another repayment plan, or they would be placed in a student repayment plan. So if that sounds familiar to you, if you got children in college, you might want to make sure that they get a repayment plan that find a repayment plan that will help them, because the SAVE plan is not going to be reliable anymore. So I thought we'll pass that one on to you. All right, let's go to another story here. Escambia County, we got to get the supervisor elections back on, because yesterday he made an announcement yesterday that they are planning to change polling places here, and then this will affect a lot of us, okay, in Escambia County. So they got some, and I'm not talking about temporary changes. These are some of the permanent changes they're going to be making for 2026. And now the supervisor election, he will be mailing out people that in certain precincts will be mailed a permanent polling change and a new voting information card. Okay. Now, for an example, if you was in precinct 5, okay, precinct 5, that was over at the Wild Lake Church. There's no more. The new location going to be Klondike Church in Pensacola on Klondike Road. Okay. If you were in precinct 49, where it used to be at the Grace Lutheran Career Source Escarosa, the new location going to be at Ashbury Place there on 9th Avenue. Okay. So to make note of that, if you're in precinct 77, which used to be at the Pensacola State College in Warrenton, the new location going to be at the Lexington Terrace Community Center, located at 700 South Old Quarry Road. And if you're in precinct 98, the old location was at St. John Divine Church. The new location going to be at Bethel AME Church there on 511 Woodland Drive. And if you're in precinct 101, which formerly was at the Plainview Baptist Church. The new location going to be at the Haggai Temple, 809 Mile Road. And if you are in precinct 106, they're going to move it from the Grace Lutheran Career Resource Center, Escarosa, to the Holy Episcopal Church, located at 7979 North Avenue. Okay. And so these are some of the things that you're going to be concerned about. Now, let's bring it home just a little bit for voters that are going to be affected again. Also, if you're living in precinct 14, so you gotta better make sure you check your polling status. But if you live in precinct 14 that used to be at Fricker Center, right? The temporary location now is going to be, if you were voting at Fricker Center, you got to move down to the main library. Go down to the main library at 239 North Spring Street. See, they're already starting to make it harder for you to vote. And if you're in precinct 70, which is over at the Burgess Road Baptist Church, now this is temporarily, but they're moving it temporarily moving it to the Pensacola Christian College, located at 115 St. John Street. So I want you to pay special attention to this now, okay? Pay special attention to what I'm saying. Okay, if you're living in the following precincts, they have permanently changed. You know, if you're living in precinct 5, 49, if you're living in, you voted in precincts 5, 49, 77, 98, 101, and 106. Those are permanent changes. You're going to have a totally permanent change of voting places. They're going to send you a permanent change of location information and a new voter's card. Now, they have temporary changes, and these temporary changes affect precinct 14 and 70. 14 is at Fricker Center. They're going to have to go to the library. But that's temporary until they get Fricker Center back up and running. And then in precinct 70, over at Burgess Road Church, it's going to temporarily move it to the Pensacola Christian College. So there. Now, changes from 25 special elections, okay? For if you was in precinct 22, that used to be up at Century Town Hall, the new location up there now is going to be at the Billy G. Ward Century Courthouse, that located at 7500 North Central Avenue. And if you up there in precinct 24, if you're down in precinct 24 here, down at the Warrenton Church, the new location now is going to be at St. John Episcopal Church, located at 401 Live Oak Avenue. Y'all, that is some changes they made from the last election. So if you voted in no place last election, you're going to be changes. That's your new election. Now, if you return into your precincts, after being at the main library for 2024 and 2025, precinct 31, if you live in the precinct 31, is returning to the permanent location at Christ Church. That's precinct 31 now. Okay, going back to Christ Church. Okay, they're located at 18 West Wright Street. Okay, now maybe I had a supervisor election come on to explain a little bit of the matter, but if you got any question about your polling place, just go online to examyourvote.gov and look, say where to vote, or just call the office there at 595-3900, okay? 595-3900. All right, let's move on to a different story here that's over in Okaloosa County. They rescued some snorkelers over there yesterday. They got in some trouble. So if you're snorkeling, that you might want to find a little more information about that. I don't know. I'm not even sure exactly how they got in trouble when they went snorkeling, but at least these two snorkelers, they were rescued because they were swept out by the current. Now, we talked about this a lot. Okay, we talked about because the seas are rough out there, y'all, and what they're telling you to do if you are going to be out there, number one, swim close to the shore and swim close to where you know some lifeguards going to be. And if you are caught into the rip current, don't fight. Don't try to swim your way back to shore. If you do, swim parallel to the shore. Don't swim directly to the shore, but swim parallel to the shore, or float. May wave your hand, holler. Make sure your presence is known to somebody that you're in trouble. But just if you can't swim, float, and just float there for a minute if you can until you can work your way out of it. But if you're going to swim, make sure that you swim parallel to the shore. Important thing is keep your eyes out on those flags that they put up out there, okay? So they'll let you know what the problem might be. All right, let's move on to another story. Shark Week, y'all. Jaws! All right. In celebration of Shark Week, Gulf Area over in Fort Walton Beach, they're gonna highlight the role of the shark. We got some, I don't know how many species of sharks out there, but they ain't all that Jaws, but some of them are good for the ecosystem, and that is what they are featuring at the Gulf area. Okay, now story that you all might be interested in. Lord have mercy, y'all. Our former governor candidate, Andrew Gillum, which is the former mayor of Tallahassee, and he almost was our governor. Almost he didn't win governorship for the lack of 30,000 votes. Had 30,000 more people, 31,000 or 31,001 person had came out to vote in 2018. Maybe we wouldn't have had book banning. Maybe this man wouldn't have been on drugs. I don't know, but he got in trouble after he lost the race in 2018, and but he made the news cycle sometime thereafter down in Miami for drugs and with his. They say that he had a male friend, so I didn't know the boy swing that way, but I guess he does. But anyhow, he was arrested, y'all. He was arrested in Daphne, Alabama, okay, on drug charges the other day. Andrew Gillum, 46 years old, y'all. Now, he rose to national prominence as the Democratic nominee for governor here in 2018 and barely missed it. Last Thursday, y'all, he was stopped on a routine traffic stop in Daphne, Alabama, and he was pulled over, and the cops say that they saw a ceramic crack pipe sitting between the seat, which triggered a search of the car, okay? Automatic search of the car. And so what they say that when they found some paraphernalia, a glass pipe, a glass pipe in the console, and some illegal drugs in the car, and then he got arrested. Okay, he got arrested. Like I said, I think it was in 2020, back down in Miami. He was found passed out in a Miami hotel room with a male escort who was suffering from a suspected drug overdose. And then also in 2022, he was indicted on federal charges relating to wire fraud and conspiracy. A 2023 trial on those charges ended up in a hung jury. So, boy, you got a target on your back. Y'all, it's bad enough to be profiled, but y'all have to remember what grandmama taught us. We got to be twice as good and twice as better than everybody else to get normal. So you just cannot be normal being black. You got to be super normal to be black. So you're gonna have to be, in other words, you're gonna have to be super good as well. Okay, you're gonna have to be super good. All right, let's move on to another story over in Navarre Beach there. A family lost their home due to fire, and they're saying that it was due to lightning strike, but it's under investigation. And y'all, I said lightning. I mean, they saying it was due. I got one story that's saying that they lost the house due to fire, but this story talks about they blaming it on. They ain't blaming it on alcohol this time, y'all. They blaming it on fireworks. They say that they believe that the fireworks was the reason that the house. That they believe that was the reason for the house caught on fire. So again, fire safety. I preach this to. I can't preach no more. Okay, I'm telling you, be careful about fireworks. Make sure you got smoke detectors and everything. All right, let me move on to story because I got Mr. Community. He's going to be calling in just a few minutes. A woman was charged with neglecting her children after narcotics search at her home in Fort Walton Beach. Y'all need to read about this story. She should have her children taken away from her if that's the case. All right. Fireworks. Again, a fireworks dispute at the Russell Harbor during the Milton River Fest, and what the police was called. That's over in Santa Rosa County. Y'all read about that story as well. I got to move on. This third story here, 11-year-old boy, and this is an alligator, third alligator attack in 3 days around the state of Florida. This time, an 11-year-old boy. Okay, excuse me, please. An 11-year-old boy was attacked and got his hand bitten off by an alligator. We just reported a lady and a man. Lady was attacked by an alligator. We reported in them stupid story, a couple sitting in the damn river trying to feed the alligator by hand. You know, sometimes we ask for trouble. But anyhow, let me move on. This is another house fire that I was telling you about. I should have had this story back to back, but I'm not that organized, so it is what it is. But anyhow, Pensacola fire, they say it was linked to a lightning strike. So be warned about that. Let's go on a little bit of national news. Y'all know Mitch McConnell is absence without leave. He's absent from the Senate in questions about his health as a road. You know, I don't understand. I think this is his last term, so forth. I think we need some House and Senate reform. I think when these people get a certain age, no disrespect to age, because I'm up there myself, but come on now. Come on. You know, they sit there and die in office and let's put an age limit on how long you can serve, okay? At what age? And let's get some fresh ideas in that. The problem that we have in America, you know, Mitch McConnell been there 100 years, and all these other folks been there 100 years, and they just, I think it's time for now that we need to start looking at putting some age limits on. That's just me, y'all. Here we go again, y'all. Here we go again. Another ICE agent illegally shot an immigrant who he said trying to ram him. That was out in Texas. Let me tell you, I don't believe that for 1 minute. I believe that the man was trying to get the hell out of Dodge, and they want a reason to start shooting. Okay, and what he's trying to do. But anyhow, that's my version of the news. So accept for what it is. This guy here, I don't know where you need to drop the hell out. Okay, I tell you. And I never liked this kind of say anyway. That's just me. He looked like a Proud Boy. He had a Nazi symbol that he covered up anyway. He got trouble with women. He beating and raping women. We already got an alleged rapist in the White House now. We don't need anybody. We don't need to add to that pile. Democrats, get your act together and find somebody that we can depend on. Somebody that look nice. Look at it. Scruffy beard. Look like he's a logger and everything. What happened to civility in politics anymore? Let me move on. Another K9 was taken down, and you know, of course, they say a multi-agency possession of these canine Santes, they call them. Okay, that's a dog officer. They get the same respect as a human officer, and so they have a multi-agency honor for canine Santes. I can tell you right now, y'all can do a lot of things, but don't mess with these puppies. You're gonna be in real big trouble. This man here, they should have just not only just gave him 75 years of life plus 10 years, but they should have set the prison on top of his face, if you ask me, for beating a 3-week-old child to death. Okay. How sick can you get? Okay. Beating a 3-year-old child to death. Moving on. Here's another story you've been talking about here in the school, where this doctor over in Gulf Breeze was giving his wife some plastic surgery or whatever you want to call it, and she died. And now they're blaming him for his death. And it's been an argument over whether or not they are going to allow this medical examiner to testify, because she doesn't have certain expertise in certain area there. But apparently the judge now has ruled that the medical examiner can testify. Okay, I hope she don't test a lie, but hopefully that she's going to be able to testify, but she cannot testify to the subject matter she has no expertise in, but she still will be able to testify. So his lawyer was unsuccessful for not getting him to testify. Okay. All right. Got mail? All right. If you don't, you better get stamps is going up, y'all. Stamps is going up. Effective July the 13th. All these stamps are going up. So you better stock up on your forever stamps right now. I think stamps are going up to what? 87 cents. I'm not sure exactly what the cost of these stamps. I think they're 78 cents right now. I remember when stamps, y'all don't laugh at my age, but I remember when stamps were 3 cents. Okay, 3 cent stamps. But now they're 78 cents. They're gonna go from 78 cents to 82 cents. That's a 4 cents increase. They're gonna take effect on July 12th. And I guess on July 13th, you don't have I don't understand how they're gonna be able to tell the difference between, I guess you're just going forward. If you got a forever stamp, if you bought it back then, okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. If you bought a forever stamp 10 years ago, it's still good forever. Okay, so anything after July 12th you buy, you just gonna have to pay more for it. And so you ask yourself, how do you measure how much stamps you can use? Well, the rule is that that you use a 70-cent stamp on a letter. That's kind of 1 ounce. But anything, if you got an international postcard, that's going to go up. And if you got, you're going to go up proportionately. Okay, proportionately, it will go up as well. All right. Also, before I get to Mr. Ellison Bennett, so go ahead and go out and get your stamps right now. Okay. Now, another thing I want to tell you about, Walmart and Sam Clubs and all those folks are dropping their prices now. Your boy is trying to claim credit for all of that as well, because Walmart and Sam Club and Target and all those kind of folks trying to drop their prices a little bit this summer to help relieve the economy. All right, it's 7:30. I'm gonna have to go to Mr. Ellison Bennett in just a few minutes, but when I come back after talking to Ellison, I'm not going to get a chance to get my news in, but I want to talk about some black news that people are talking about around the country, y'all. So keep that in mind. With George Johnson, y'all remember George Johnson? He's the Johnson hair product man. He died. He died at the age of 99. That's in black news. NAACP announcing its largest ever midterm spending for the election. Well, we need to, because it's going to be really urgent that we do that. There's still questions remaining about the little 1-year-old boy that got shot in Mississippi at Walmart. So, you know, these are black headlines that you need to keep in mind. Also, a judge ordered Trump to reinstall all of those signs and exhibits at the National Mall that you don't hear about. Now, you hear about when he's trying to get rid of them, but you don't hear about when the judges make him reinstate them. That's in black news. And also, Florida, black news, a black-owned brewery is opening in Florida for the first time. So you need to check that out as well. And they got a study also on cancer rates, y'all. Cancer rate, why do we get the back end of everything, okay? Even though cancer rate has gone down over the years, over 30 years, but it's clearly saying that the black folks and minorities still get the worst end of the stick. Read about that in your black news. Coco Gauff is another story that you need to read about, because she added another milestone to her historic rise over in Wilmington, okay, as well. And the other story about Kamala Anthony, his legal team is now trying to get that judge recused because they want to appeal and they want to get a new trial for him as well. Now, another story that's trending that you're going to probably hear about or read about, if you did not read about, is a guy by the name of Nolan Wells. He's an 18-year-old boy over in Mississippi that went out with a group of white boys to some island, but he didn't come back. They found his body, and now that's being investigated. And if nothing else, again, read your stuff about Andrew Gillum and his troubles there and everything. All right, but now it's time for community news with Mr. Ellison Bennett. Ellison, are you there? Let me see if I can hook you up. We gotta have to get your phone so we can get Zoom calls. Sometime other phone, you don't try to act right. Make sure you speak directly to the phone. Don't put on speakerphone, okay?
Okay, all right, okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Hello?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, buddy, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so want to jump right into black news and community news. My prayer goes out to Andrew Gillum's family. I don't know mentally what's going on with him or whatever, not passing judgment, but he's still a human being. He faces some serious charges over in Alabama. I don't think they're going to be kind to him, but I believe due process should be in place, and we have to watch that. I want to jump quickly to what happened here the night of July the 4th. Young children, according to the police department, as young as 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, were still downtown 11 o'clock at night. Parents going to have to do better. They might not want to hear that, but we have to keep our children of young age out of harm's way. 6 people shot, 1 dead. Condolences go out to PJ's family. And I want to ask the question of Black America this. Why is it that we hate each other so bad that we can justify taking a person's life? And when you do that, you never can go back to that person who's dead and apologize to him or her for your behavior. If we knew our history, I'm talking about this Generation X, we would not be treating each other the way we do. There's young people cursing around, elderly people 80, 90 years old, no respect shown. People don't even respect the teachings of Christ. And then there are people who listen to your program, very well you can't do nothing about the killing. Not only your program, Vernon, but nationwide. I'm just being local. I refuse to throw up my hands. I will continue to pray
And I will say this, the shooters, I hope they're listening, the parents of the shooters, the friends of the shooters, this insane genocide that's been happening, not only in Escambia County, I get that. People tell me, well, what about Detroit, Philly, and Miami, and Orlando? Listen, 225 young black men in the last 11 years, right here in Escambia County, between the age of 13 and 26, have killed each other. Where are the fraternities? Where are the groups that's preaching the gospel of Christ? Every citizen of Escambia County should be outraged that this nonsense of shooting is continuing to go on. We remember 2 years ago at a Little League football game on W Street, guys go and kill a guy right in front of the concession stand. These young children are seeing this. At a high school football game at Booker T. Washington High School a couple of years ago, shooting occurred. And I can go on and on and on. I have prayed with these mothers and cried with these mothers because I see the pain that they are having to endure because someone made a decision, money or drugs or dislike was more important than a human life. We talk to these people all the time. We beg them every election cycle to vote. I'm talking about the young people out here clubbing and perpetrating these acts of violence. They don't do that. We're fighting for their right of the generation now and next to come, and they don't even realize that. Us, at the polling place, register people to vote. Be kind to your grandmothers and grandfathers and put aside that nonsense that you see at the movie theater, on TikTok, gangster rap and gangster this and all that. That is a movie. That is entertainment. That is not really reality. You do not have to disrespect another human being. That is by choice. And until we get to that point, back to the teachings of Christ and following the 10 Commandments, whether you go to church or not, people know, Vernon. They know in their hearts of hearts when they're doing somebody wrong. That is no badge of honor to take a person's life. I'm going to keep on speaking out against violence. I'm going to speak on keeping out against racism, hatred, and bigotry, and encouraging people to vote.
Absolutely, Ellison. Are you still there?
Vernon, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear
Hello?
me? I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. We went silent for a few minutes.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I hope my message went out this morning because there should be no excuses for what is going on in our community. I want to challenge your listening audience. I'm not going to give them the name. I'm going to let them do their own research. 1925, here in America, a black man was lynched. His wife spoke out about it. She was carrying a baby. The Klanman hung her and then cut open her stomach and set her on fire. That happened right here in these states because of the hate for black people that's been going on for years. You got a racist, coward, con man in the White House right now. He was telling all of you all that the war is over. They have obliterated Iran. I have been saying for months, the war is not going to be over until Iran say so. That is fact. Look, they're supposed to be at a ceasefire. He's over there talking about a peace agreement. How can you one day and talk about peace and the next day you bumming somebody? And here's his supporters saying, oh, that was in retaliation for what Iran did. All of that is crap. Let me hear Trump speak out against the modern day Klansman. Yes, I'm saying the national the white nationalists that marched down the street of Washington, D.C. while you celebrating this country. I pray that the young black girl was on that subway, is doing fine, but just think of the mental anguish she had to endure with all those cowards standing around her. They wouldn't have confronted the Nation of Islam. They wouldn't have confronted Black Panthers. It is time we pull ourselves up by our own bootstrap and stand up for the protection of this generation and call them into question when they doing wrong.
Yeah,
Absolutely right.
Ellison.
And you have a blessed day. Again, encouraging people. We need everybody of voting age. Get registered and go to the polls. Vernon, thank you for these airways because we're trying to save a generation of people.
All right, man.
Thank you so much, Ellison. I appreciate it. You got anything else before you go?
No, just have a blessed day.
All righty now. Thank you so much. All right.
All right.
That's Mr.
Ellison Bennett, y'all. It's 7:45, and I'm trying to get my friend Miss Jill Daggs in just a little bit, y'all. I hadn't talked to her this morning. She's usually come in with her Okaloosa report this morning, so she'll be popping in here in just a few minutes with the inside Okaloosa, if you will. Jill, let me see if I can get Ellison out of here and see if I can find Miss Jill this morning, and I think she is, and I'm gonna go ahead and play her intro and so you can get her in because she's gonna be reporting inside Okaloosa and what's around Santa Rosa as well. Stay tuned, y'all. Stand by.
Welcome to Inside Okaloosa with Jill Daggs. Tune in on WBQP TV every Wednesday at 7:45 a.m.
Good morning, Miss Jill Daggs from Okaloosa County. How are you, sugar? Hold on, let me you got to put your mic on, baby.
Yeah, I was on mute.
You on mute. How you doing this morning? You looking gorgeous this morning. You dressing up for me like that? You made her.
Vernon, it's Wednesday. This is Vernon's day.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing okay. You know, there's a lot going on. There's just so much. Sometimes you just have to take a deep breath.
Mm-hmm.
Say, you know what? It's gonna be okay.
It'll be okay.
A lot of stuff, family-wise, a lot of stuff political-wise, a lot of stuff community-wise, and we just had the 4th of July, so 250 years.
Yeah. Well, you know, how was your weekend? Did you have a pretty good weekend?
I did. I did a lot of stuff around the house and a lot of work. You know, we have the 43rd annual conference coming up for the Democratic Black Caucus of Florida, and where we normally have literally months, 9-10 months to set this up. This year we had 3.5, 4 weeks. And so it has been nonstop, sleepless nights. But excited for that. And I actually did this year see the fireworks in Crestview. We were, I think, I can't speak for everywhere else, but in Crestview, everybody tries to get close to Twin Hills Park. And I didn't realize, Vernon, we drove around in circles. Fireworks start, of course, you can see them. We're trying to figure out where you can park because we didn't go early. It was kind of okay, let's go to fireworks. Late. Not late, but too late to get a parking space. And then as we were leaving, we were like, this is just not going to work. We're not going to find anything, but we could still see the fireworks. We drove down the road, Vernon, probably a half a mile in front of, I think it's First Baptist Church, Wells Fargo, just everything down 85. And you could have parked there, nobody really there, just a few couple people, and you could see the fireworks perfectly.
Wow. Great.
So, note to self, next year when you're doing fireworks, always think about your vantage point of seeing them up in the air, not being so close that you're right next to them.
You got to break your neck looking up.
Yes, they were, I don't know. But anyway, they were over there. They were comfortable. And I ended up going to Walmart and getting the stuff I needed to get so that we could do the yard and all that. But there were fireworks everywhere. I think Vernon probably shared. We gave information for Fort Walton, for Destin, for Crestview. We even did Defuniak and Santa Rosa. So we're trying on Inside Okaloosa to make sure that we give you information across county lines. I guess we should start with our weather that is just crazy. It's super, super, super hot. Not right now, but the days get so, so hot. You might get a burst of rain, thunderstorms, and lightning. It's a dangerous time to not make sure that you're hydrating yourself. You're checking on the elderly, definitely pets, young children. All of those are at risk for heat stroke, heat exhaustion. And I would just tell everybody, we are in hurricane season, so make sure that you're aware of your surroundings. And Vernon, I think, I'm not going to say you failed. I'm going to say I failed. So maybe 3 weeks ago when we had that tropical storm, hurricane, whatever the heck it was, we got all that rain. And I didn't even know that's why we were getting rain. And my son was like, Mom, how come you don't know? And I was like, there's so much else going on. And that's not a good excuse. It's not even okay. And so to our listening audience, I'm going to apologize for Inside Okaloosa, because we should have said, hey, make sure that you're watching the weather. Make sure you start getting your stuff together. Make sure that you're prepared, because preparation doesn't happen after the fact. Now, we were fortunate that it was just a lot of rain. There was some flooding, some downed trees, that we were all safe. But I would just encourage everybody to get your hurricane plan in place and to get your hurricane supplies. I always think that if you have the space, now I live in a tiny house, so I don't necessarily have the space, but if you have the space, there's no reason why you can't have your 2 or 3 packs of water and the things that you might need. Keep your rice and the things, cans of beans, whatever it is that you're going to keep so that you can eat peanut butter if you're not allergic to peanuts. Flashlights, candles, things that you would need, that you don't want to go to the store. I remember Vernon coming here, and it's different here. We don't have hurricanes up north. And we have sirens for tornadoes.
They used to say that about New York too, Jill. Guess what?
But I was
Sandy made her believe out about the hurricanes, about that. But go ahead.
When I was there, I'm saying New York, Michigan, Kentucky, where we lived, there weren't hurricanes. But we had sirens for tornadoes. So everything's a little bit different here. But I will say that going to the store and seeing like the bread aisle wiped clean, and the water wiped clean, like you go and sometimes people are panicking because they don't know, especially if you just moved to the area, you hear hurricane and you're like, I need to get everything. I have a rental place, and I remember we had a couple from up north, and they came down and we had a hurricane, and they went and bought all this stuff, and he was like, it was nothing. And I was like, that's because it was a Cat 1 and it didn't hit us. But they were hoping to see it because they had heard so much about it, not understanding the true devastation that a hurricane can cause. Okay, nothing about the weather. Probably spent too much time on that. But Vernon, how are you?
I am well.
Did you get to see fireworks in Escambia County? And
no, Jill, I did not participate in any of the fireworks. I stayed in. I heard, but what I did do, which I normally don't do, I sit down and watch it on TV. From New York and DC and stuff like that. But I did not go. I heard it in my neighborhood. fireworks going off all over the neighborhood, and I didn't want to get involved with that traffic downtown and stuff like that. And I'm glad I didn't. You know, we ended up having a shooting downtown, killing the. Did you hear about that?
I did, and
Yeah.
I called one of your dear friends. We won't mention his name right now, and I was like, "Why is Pensacola having a mass shooting?" And he was
Yeah.
like, "That's not a mass shooting." I was like, "No, anytime 4 people or more are shot, that's called a mass shooting." Pensacola made national news because there were shootings across July 4th. But yes, I don't. You'll know more. I know it's tragic. I know that everybody's life is worth being preserved. And I can't get in the middle of it. And I wish that our answer to disputes and grievances and issues was not, let me go get a gun and start shooting. And I also don't think that it's okay for innocent bystanders to be caught up in anything. So it's a terrible, awful situation. There was a life taken at a young age, and we need to do something about our gun violence.
Yeah.
And I don't know when enough is enough. I don't know how close it has to get to home, or how far away, or how many schools, or how many people. I just don't know what it takes for people to understand that there just really is a better way. My daughter would tell you that my mom says everybody should be home at 12 o'clock. Not that shootings don't happen in the middle of the day. They don't happen at schools and movie theaters and Dollar Trees and Walmarts. So that's not always your fail safe. But I'm always like, it's 12 o'clock. I need you to leave wherever you are and please go home. But if this was really targeted, I think it wouldn't have mattered. Somebody wants, it's kind of like having restraining orders when you are in domestic violence situations. They're good and you should absolutely get them, but they don't save your life.
True. That's true. That is true. But anyway, it is what it is, and but that's the only thing that put a damper on the weekend. So, but I didn't do anything fantastic this weekend.
Didn't do anything fantastic. Well, we will definitely send and continue to lift that family and the community up in prayer, and we will hopefully find a way here soon to have a better way to do things, a better way. Well, it's an election time, so we may as well transition into that. You guys know we're always going to go there.
Before you go there, and before I get Charles on, because I know he'd be gloating. Yeah, he'd be gloating on this, because he's a Republican. You heard the news about Andrew Gillum, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we want to touch on that? Or we just want? And my grandma, you want to leave that alone?
I'd really like to leave it alone, but people are.
Let's leave it alone.
But I will say this: I had to have Vernon no less than 10 people send me the different articles, as if I am Andrew Gillum's personal
mama.
Either his mom, because I think we're the same age. As I'm not his mom, his sister, his campaign manager. I was like, look, y'all, like, I think as you go back and around and everything, I think I still will honestly say that 32,000 votes ago in 2018 would have changed our life. I can't tell you that the path, the journey that he has been on would be the same had he won. Was it because he lost? Was it so devastating? I can't tell you that. But what I can absolutely say, while everybody's throwing the daggers or has the little comments to say, is that if 32,000 people would have just checked the freaking box, our whole world would be different.
Yeah.
Our whole world would be different. And so for me, that's what I look at. I pray again for his family. He does have young kids, and this has got to be a lot for them. They still have to go to school unless they're homeschooled now. And it's hard to You know, the dad that was the mayor, the dad that ran for governor, the dad that got into some trouble in Miami, now the guy that got some trouble here. It's got to be hard, and we don't often think of the impact of our actions on our children.
Amen.
And they are always watching. I know that as parents, we think we've got them covered, or we think that they don't know or see. And, you know, I think I would love for us either on this show sometime, probably not this show, but on one of your shows, Vernon, to really start getting some young people. Maybe we would tap into the NAACPs that have that young people's group, to talk about bullying and the impact of things that are going on in their lives, because we're having more and more children.
Well, Jill.
Yeah.
It is nothing but a word. Why don't you create the show? I'll let you host the show. I'll let you do that. I think we need to try to reach out to these young people. And you know, I got a show on domestic violence. I got different shows on different subject matter. But what you're saying is it's a great idea. I know you got a lot of things on your plate, but I'm not dumping it into your plate. But
no, I will talk. And I went to David Triana with Conexion Media, had an event. He's coming to Pensacola, I believe, in August, he said. But he had a gathering of all the different candidates, and they were, you know, Democrats, Republicans, MPAs, it was everybody. And one of the candidates for school board, she's a mom in Fort Walton, I believe. And she said that the only reason she got in was because of the bullying and the stuff that was happening to the children. And as they were dying in school, the schools are like brushing it off. Like, there has to be a better way, and there has to be a response that's more than, okay, we'll check into it, or we talk to them and we think we have it handled. And then somebody ends up taking their life because guess what? It wasn't handled, or their friend or somebody in that circle. And so I just think it's important that we as adults start listening and hearing what's going on. And as school board members, principals, teachers, parents of the bullied and parents of the bullier, that we become more aware of the catastrophic impact that it has, not only as they're going through school, but think about some of the people who have come back and done some of the school shootings, and those are their stories. And so maybe if we have the open communication and we expose some of the untruths or the facts that aren't really facts, we can start to heal and give people that opportunity to seek the help that they need, and for us to give them the help that they need.
Yeah. Well, I think it's something that we got to do what we need to do to reach out to these kids. Let me get you in on our report, and then if you got a few minutes, Coach Charles gonna be in just a few minutes once he gets himself together, and we can talk about some other things. You know, also good news, Charles. But anyway, also, you know, I got at 8:30, Jill, and I know you can't stay around for that, but I got a young man coming on as a guest. I had Dottie on yesterday. She was running for, you know, Dottie Joseph. Yeah, Dottie Joseph, but she was on yesterday. I got Stefan on this morning. He coming on about 8:30, running for governor. Are you familiar with him?
I'm not familiar with all of them. So, but because we're doing the Black Caucus event in Orlando, I have sent out, so I know their names. I know Dottie. I don't know Stefan, but I have sent out information to all of the statewide candidates, and then all of the House, Senate, and congressional candidates. So I know the name, but I don't know that I know him. So I will put you on in my car so I can hear what he has to say. But look at you, Vernon, getting everybody in the mix.
I want to be able to give people an option, Jill, you know, particularly the underdogs and the unknown people a chance. I sent them some correspondence said you're welcome to come on the show. You, in particular, make yourself known to Northwest Florida. And he came on. Are you familiar with him at all?
I
His
do
name is
know,
Kenneth Stefan.
other than I know he was running, and I've sent him some information, but no, I'm not.
Okay. Yeah. So, and I got other ones also scheduled to come on. Let me ask this: the event that you're going to this time, it's the same event that we went a couple of years ago that I went. When is it? And when is it? And when is it going to be again? I might have to join y'all. Y'all didn't send me. You didn't invite me this time, man. I'm not invited.
No, that's not true.
Call you and Derek think I'm a fence walker.
No, it doesn't matter. I don't care who comes. Here's the thing, a couple of things. It's July 17th. It's 8 to 5, so it's on a Friday, which would mean you'd have to come in on Thursday. So we were thinking, would Jerry and Vernon and them come down? And it's just one day.
Okay.
So you're more than welcome to come. Absolutely. It is, we have the breakfast in the morning with the panels. So the similar panels, but different. I will send you over the flyer right now. And
okay, please do. Yeah.
Ifioma, Derek's going to kill me. Iki is our speaker. I can't say her name right. They call her, but I'll get you all that information. And Wednesday next week we can talk about it. But if you guys are interested, absolutely you can come. We have a breakfast, a lunch, leadership legacy lunch that we've planned. And then this is why we're reaching out to all the candidates, because from 3 to 5 we're doing a candidate extravaganza. And that gives candidates across the state. So even if you're running for school board, city council, all the way up to governor, the opportunity to get on the stage in front of people all across the state of Florida, give your spiel, give them your information. But the reason we really do it is because there are counties in Florida that don't have candidates that they know or that they can actually do postcards for, do phone calls for, knock doors for, all of that. And so when we did it 2 years ago, it was a big hit because people were like, you know what, I'm in so-and-so. Like, think about Okaloosa before we had, Gabe Alamont and Phil Ayer. Other than them, we just didn't have any other candidates. And so now, you guys have 14, I think, in Escambia, and we have about 5 that cover Okaloosa. And so, but it gives you that opportunity to engage, to help, to do some of the work that everybody wants to do. So everybody's invited. It's a very affordable conference. It's $150. You get breakfast, you get lunch, you get a drink ticket, and you get hors d'oeuvres. So like we're feeding you every time you go into a room, you get food.
Yeah. Well, you make sure you tell them that those statewide candidates that they need to advertise with WBQP.
I will do that. And what you can do for us, if you'll give Derek some of your cards, your pens, or something, we'll make sure that every single candidate gets that at that candidate extravaganza.
Okay, remind me, because I got a whole bunch of stuff that I got left over from the last time.
Just give it to us and we'll use it all.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you for reminding me of that. I wonder what I'm gonna do with all that stuff. I'll give my wife something to do, and my daughter. We'll get that to you. Okay. All right, now go ahead. Go ahead with your report. I'm sorry, Shuka.
That's okay. So there's a couple of things going on. There's always something going on, but I think there's some things we need to talk about. So on Saturday, July 11th, Crestview have a celebration day. It's 10 to 2. They're going over the Crestview History Museum. It's at 198 South Wilson. They're going to go over how to fence. They're just trying to do a whole bunch. I don't know if you guys saw Mayor Witten, who is the mayor for Crestview. He's really amazing. I think he said this is going to be his last term. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do going forward. However, he is bringing all of these events for celebrating the 250th year and just building community and making sure that he's everywhere. So even though he's the mayor of Crestview, he's in Fort Walton, he's some everywhere. So there's that going on. We also have the Fair Market in Defuniak Springs. So this is Walton County. I'm always trying to give you guys something everywhere. And so they are going to have 50,000. They have 50,000 followers. They're going to have local vendors at their market. And that is also this Saturday. And I will get Vernon the flyer on that. And then what I would also say to Okaloosa is to be mindful. So we do have to get into politics, but I'm going to stay kind of neutral and just say this. Make sure that you've done what you need to do to ensure that you can vote. The primary is short, coming very fast. And you need to make sure that you're registered to vote. Make sure you know where to vote, and then start checking out the candidates. This is your opportunity to make sure that the person that ends up going through the general is a person that the community chose. And so I think showing up, but being educated first. I think Vernon, you disagree with me, but maybe don't. I love the fact that we say, just check the box. Just check all the boxes, all the blue boxes, all the red boxes, all the MPA boxes, whoever box you want to check. And I don't think that's where we are anymore. I think that we are at who is the best candidate for all of us, looking at, and there's no perfect candidate. So I think we fall into this hole where we're like, but they think this, and it's the one thing I can't do. And I also would caution, and we probably need more time for this, but I would caution you for being a one issue voter. So I believe that in LGBTQ rights and you don't, so I can't vote for you. Or I believe in pro-choice or pro-life, whichever way you are, and so I can't vote for you. You have to look at the full picture because nobody's perfect. And there is no, like, we can't put all the candidates together probably and come out with a perfect candidate on either side or all together. I can't take all the MPAs or the Republicans or the Democrats and create a perfect candidate. So I would say, do your homework. Yeah. And your homework is not listening to just what we say or listening just what Charles says. It's doing your own personal homework, because my issues are going to be what impacts me. Healthcare. My son's a veteran. So those are issues that are dear to me. Yours might be housing. It might be the environment. It could be anything. And so you want to pay attention to everything.
Jill, let's bring Charles in here on this conversation, because I know he's standing by, and I know you got to go, because I know he want to get his 2 cents in with you. Good morning, Charles. How you doing, my man? Your mic is off.
Good morning, Mr. Vernon. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning.
How you doing this morning? Trying to get my light right, that stuff like that. But I'm doing good. I have my coffee and listen to Jill. What's going on, Vernon? I heard Doc Bennett. I've been listening to you all morning as I listened to you yesterday.
You a listener? God, I thought you was one time. I thought you just only came on at 8 o'clock so you can have your face on the plate. I didn't think you just listened.
I listened, and I heard the lady from ECUA, and I went over there, and they told me I was too old, Vernon. They wouldn't take my application. I'm too old, Vernon.
But Charles, I hate to tell you, but they're absolutely right. Nobody wants you old self on there. on their job. But anyway, let me let you talk to Jill, because I know Jill's on a schedule. And she has to work, Charles. She ain't like you. She ain't on a fixed income like me and you.
Well, she'll get there. She's gonna get there. She'll get there. What's going on this morning, Jill? Do we have a gray area where we can agree? We want everybody to register to vote.
We just go register to vote. Get their education on candidates. Make the right decision based on what impacts. I always think it's your family first, then your community, then your state. The way
vet your candidate, right? Vet your candidate based on your desires, your needs, your want, what your community needs. You vet your candidate and make sure you get someone based on stuff like that.
Yeah, that's our even. And I said no matter what, and I also said I don't. And you might not agree either, but I just am at the point that sometimes, and I think Vernon said it before, that if you just vote your party line, you might miss a really good candidate, and you might make the wrong decision. And so as you're vetting, don't just vet your party, vet everybody, because there is an opportunity to choose the best person, and it might not be in your party, and it might be. So I'm being very neutral today. Because I think that's the best process. I am being neutral. I just think it's the best process. I think that we would get maybe more people to engage if they were able to have their own thoughts and feelings and express them and ask the hard questions than us saying, no, if you're a Democrat, you have to do this. And if you're a Republican, I know this is hard for the Republicans because I don't think y'all let people do anything else, but that's just me. I'm on the outside. I don't know. I just know that when you ring the bell, they move. So I don't know. But what I will say is that I think that it's fair for people to vet all candidates. And I think it's needed for them to educate themselves. And it shouldn't just be, oh, my mom says she likes this person. Now, that should be an influence, but you should go find out. What if that person, 5 of the things that you believe in, they don't?
Well, I think what you say, what I would say, vet your candidates, and after you do the vetting, make sure you vote Republican. But what you would say is vet your candidate, and after you do the vetting, make sure you vote Democrat, right? That's behind closed doors.
That's what I should
Charles. Wait a minute, Jill. Wait a minute, Charles. I would say vet your candidate, and after you vet them, vote Democrat. Period.
That's what you say behind closed doors, Vernon.
Okay, we said it down here.
Since I'm on Vernon in the morning, I'm gonna say vet your candidate, and after you vet your candidate, make sure you vote your conscience.
The real one, not the one that's planted in your mind, but your real one.
I don't know what and for me, and this is for me. I guess for me, there are some bad Republicans. There are some bad Democrats. We can agree when I say bad, not as a human being, but bad from a standpoint of some of the things that they have done or some of the action they're taking. And you want to take all of that into consideration, just like what happened out in Maine with the guy out in Maine. They're looking at maybe replacing him, but they're going to vet the replacement. But when they replace him, they're going to replace him with the Democrat. And that's what that's political. That's what we do. Like in Mitch McConnell, we vet Mitch McConnell, and if we replace him, we're going to try to replace him with the
Democrat.
No, with the Republican. We're going to try to replace him with the Republican, and that's what keeps this nation strong. That's what keeps us focused. That's what keeps us centered. We can agree to disagree after the debate at the dinner table, but once you go public, this election here is going to be so close to you that we can be friends, but politically, you need the Democratic Party. If you want to take event over the House or this or that, the Senate, you're going to have to elect Democrats. You're not going to be able to, and if we want to maintain it, we're going to have to find Republican. And and every now and then we get a pig and we have to put lipstick on them. Hopefully this year we don't have to. Hopefully we don't have to do that this year, because there are good candidates out there on both sides. And I thank God that President Trump's name is not on the ballot.
Me too. Thank God for all favors.
I think I can get off on that. I think I can get off the show today, understanding that we are all thanking God not just for being here and
but for thanking God that he ain't on the ballot.
But that he is not on the ballot, because I can tell you right then.
Charles, I hate to tell you,
but people would be upset, because I believe that would cost y'all everything. Right?
Because if he was on the ballot, we wouldn't have to work so hard, Vernon.
You would. You would just lose. But
we would have, our base would be a little bit more motivated. So we're going to have to.
And so you're thanking God because of that, or are you fixing your words because that's what we do as Republicans?
Charles, I want to keep that. I want to keep this out of your Republican friend because they're gonna take that out of context. They're gonna take it. They're gonna take it to the meeting and they're gonna tar and feather you for making that statement. But
what statement?
The thing you said that thank God Trump wasn't on the ballot this time. You're gonna be taken out of context.
Because if he was on the ballot, the Republicans would have a better chance. We would not have to work so hard because we're working hard because he's not there. He's the leader of the party, so he motivates the base.
He does motivate.
He motivates the base, Vernon. I'm not. No, they're gonna hug my neck because I'm saying the right thing, Vernon. I'm saying that.
Okay. So tell them that your dear friend Jill says it's a good thing that he's not on there. Thank God. And
Jill's saying it for
you
a
guys
different reason.
can possibly win, because if he was on there, I do believe that would be the sentence for you guys not to win.
Who is the boogeyman on the Republican side of this year? If you say a boogeyman, we don't beat up on that boy in Maine, that fella, not boy, but that young man over in Maine, and we got a few folks in Texas. We got a few people that we don't have we pretty much had Joe Biden for a while. Who do you guys have this year? Are you still? Is Trump still a boogeyman on the Democratic side? You kind of like Trump? I'm just asking, Jill. Is it still remind your audience? He's gonna be there for 2 more years.
We do know that, and if just follow the guidelines and make sure that he's not there after those 2 years. That would be fabulous.
Does his name still motivate your base if you say we Trump? If you say that,
I mean, he motivates the base, but he motivates more than the base. He motivates the NPA base. He motivates everybody. It's just which way are you motivated? I will say that. I think that he is the motivating factor. Some of that makes you move towards, and some of it makes you move away from. Maybe some of it keeps you in the middle and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. But the one thing I can say about him is that he has become a motivating factor across all party lines.
Yeah. And the thing is that why do we love him so much?
You?
Yeah.
That is.
But Charles, that is a damn good question.
That is a great question.
Damn question. Tell me that.
Why? On here for that.
But, just tell us why. I don't know. Can you explain to us why y'all love him so much?
Yeah. We love him because he's straight up. He went through so much. We kind of look at him as a figure that was so persecuted. I'm not gonna put him in the same category as the one and only man up there. But because it's almost like Mandela, a Nelson Mandela type figure.
He's a felon. He's a sexual assaulter. He's all of that. But y'all worry about everybody else.
Because
I wondered if anybody else carrying the same baggage, Charles, that Trump carried, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, anybody was equally carrying the same baggage as Trump would they be so beloved? Or is Trump representing the real conscience of America, the reason he's so loved? You think that might be the case?
Well, the only baggage he carries is every now and then he say a few curse words out in the open.
Oh,
I love him for that. I come from a long line of curse. I don't mind that.
I know you woke up this morning and you drank that coffee, that Trump coffee, but you can't sit here in the real world and say the only thing he does is he says some cuss words. I get it. We love our people that we love. But in the reality of it, you can't tell me that the things that man says and does that you guys don't cringe, because we see everybody else cringing. So if you're not cringing, you need to catch up with your party. Because there's often times that he's doing things and they're like, please don't say that. Don't do that. So if all you can come on the show this morning and say is sometimes he cusses.
Yeah, every now and then he cusses. You got to admit,
what? That coffee you drink is strong. I mean, I think it comes out when y'all are born. I think it's the mother's milk. And when y'all are changed, I'm not quite understanding it. But for the real world, and Republicans, Democrats, whoever, I'm just saying for the real world, it's a whole lot more than him saying it.
I guess who is it on the Democrat side that you revere, the same holding that high esteem as we hold?
I guess you would have to.
You have a person over there
you would have to tell me, because I can tell you Trump all our side? Who is it for you all? Who is it that you guys are just like, oh, if that person would just disappear? Who is it?
Well, on the Democrat side or Republican side?
On the Democratic side, who is it?
Well, at one time it used to be Nancy Pelosi during the first term when we were trying to build that wall, and she say not one red cent. Ooh, oh, my heart would cringe. Nancy was tough when you guys had Nancy Pelosi. Hakeem, I'm not sure. He got some issues there in New York. Him and Chuck Schumer, they got to get some tough skin because we're not gonna let up because of who you have in New York, and he's seeking the leadership. But only thing we want the president to do, Trump to do, fix the economy, deal with affordability, and bring oil prices down. If we can, we may have to really put a hurt on Iran because they reneged on our memorandum of agreement. We had an agreement, and that's like dealing with the man down below, and they violated that agreement. So I don't know how many times. So things are not going to be looking so well for Iran, and because the peoples who are violating the agreement are really the level 3 and 4 folks. You got the folks out there behind the weapons and all, and the folks at the leadership are trying to come to an agreement. But don't be surprised if we just, because we're going to have, as Republicans, we're going to have to deal with oil prices, deal with Iran. We're trying to bring peace between Russia and Ukraine. What Ukraine is doing is they're operating from a position of more strength. They're stronger than they used to be because this thing been going on for about 5 years. So Ukraine, and hopefully we're looking at trying to come up with something in the next week or so. Maybe not an agreement, but at least to get them set down at the table, because Ukraine has put a pretty good hurting on Russia, and we need our money. We're trying to get NATO and Europe to come in because we need our money to go after Iran right now. So we're going to need some of those other countries to step up and help Ukraine. Not that we're going to turn our back on them, but that's what we're busy doing right now. That's what we're busy doing right now.
Fun, Norman. It's so good to see you. But anyway, I'm going to leave you with this because I do have to go. But I also want to say something.
I gave you some nuggets this morning. Those are nuggets I gave you.
Gave me something to chew and spit out. But I appreciate it. What I would say is next time you come on and we come on, let's talk about what he's going to do here in the United States or the states of America, because that's where we live. And there's
affordability.
Yeah, what's affordability? It was that the White House when we changed the White House into all the gold rooms. Is that affordability?
We got some private funds, very little
private funds. So maybe those
very little
public money, private citizens,
very little public money, and we're operating within the law. We're operating within the law.
Stefan, I see you there. I have to go, but I just want to say hi. You probably received some emails from me. I'm Jill Lewis Staggs from the Democratic Black Caucus as well. And so we have our event coming up July 17th. Your team should have been receiving emails. We'd love for you to join us in Orlando. And I will send you another one today just so that you can now know who we are. But I'm so glad that Vernon got you here and that you were willing to come to Northwest Florida, because we matter too. And I apologize in advance. I'm apologizing in advance for Charles, but he's a good person. Most of the time, he's a good person. Sometimes he drinks that Republican coffee every morning, and so he's deep in it.
All I've heard all morning is good stuff about you. So I'm starting from that position.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I gotta go though. So Vernon, thank you so much. Charles, thank you. Stefan, we wish you the best in your election. And then we're here if you need anything, and hope to see you on the 17th.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You do what you do, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you. You too. Have a blessed day.
All right. Okay. All right, Jill. Thank you so much, Jill, Miss Jill
Thank you,
Dags.
Jill.
You know, Jill's on every Wednesday, y'all. And Charles, my co-host. Stefan, good morning. How you doing? Stefan, y'all. Let me introduce Stefan, if you
Please.
will. Stefan, is there any way you can turn your camera horizontally, if you will?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because I can get a better picture of it because this is TV, if you will. But Stefan, y'all, is running for governor of Florida. Okay. And so thank you, Stefan. I appreciate that. Okay. And he's running for the governor. He's running for the governor of Florida. Stefan, I wanted to talk to you about I got to get your camera. I need to get your camera situated, okay, if you will.
Yeah, I am. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second to go ahead and make sure that I have the I'm able to use my Bluetooth on this.
Okay. But anyway, Stefan, his name is Kenneth Stefan Norm. He's running for governor of Florida. You know, Charles, he's our special guest. Stefan Charles Thornton is my co-host on Wednesday, and Charles, well, we get Stefan situated here. Stefan, are you okay? You got it. There we go.
Yes.
There we go. Look like you're situated here. Okay.
That's what I did. So that's why I want to come to the meeting early. Make sure I get myself okay. Is that better?
That's fine. That's fine right there. Okay. That's fine right there. Stefan, tell us about tell us who is Stefan, where you from, why you running for governor. Give us a little background on who you are, because I know you running. You among many others are running for the governor of the state of Florida, and we like to know a little bit about who you are up here in Northwest Florida.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Vernon, for having me. And thank you all that, put the radio show together, for having me on as well. So first of all, good morning to everyone. My name is Stefan Norman. I'm running for Florida governor. I'm born in Texas. However, I moved to Tampa when I was 2 and have lived in Florida ever since. And really what made me decide to run for governor is I was really praying to God about how to best impact the state. And, with all the things that we have going on in the state, all the problems that I see that I've dealt with personally and that family members and friends and just people that I interact with, all the time have dealt with. And while I was praying about things and really trying to figure out where I could fit into it or how I could impact it, the Lord told me, he was like, look in the mirror. Instead of you trying to find somebody else to do something and trying to essentially believe and vote for someone else, you can run and you can do it. So I said, okay, well, amen to that. So I went ahead and Googled, how to file and officially, started my run for governor. And, we're well on the way to the primaries on August 18th. I am a qualified candidate on the ballot. So you can vote for me in August. And, the rest is, I would say the rest is history, but it's still happening. So I'll just say it's ongoing.
All right, let me ask this question then. You're a young man. I know you said that you had a kind of a premonition, if you will, to go ahead and run for governor. Do you have what do you bring? What do you bring to the table? What do you want? I guess what I want to know from you: why should people vote for you?
Great. I love that question. So for me, people should vote for me because they want something new and something different. As of right now, the most of the people that are running for governor, I feel like we've already seen like what politicians can do for the most part, and for the most, we realize that that's nothing at this point. A lot of the people that are running now, they're running on, just platitudes for the most part. They have no actual, how should I say this? They have no real platform to actually give the voters. They're just giving them more of what they've already seen, more of what they've already experienced at this point. And I'm offering something different, something new, something that they can actually live in as far as, even like with my plans as far as like enforcing a rent reduction and revitalize education. These are things that really take a new, fresh perspective. And that's what I bring to the table.
Okay, so that that is your platform. How will your platform affect African Americans?
Yeah, so my platform will affect African Americans positively for sure. As a Black African American myself, I'm not one of those people to where I just feel like I just want to ascend to a high position to leave the rest of us behind, so to speak. I'm definitely not going to be one of those people to where Black faces in high places don't have any kind of impact. That's not what I'm pushing for at all. I think that if I think that God has raised me to be up at this point, so for me to be able to open the door for others to come behind me for the next governor or the next senator or the next young Black man or young Black woman who sees themselves in me as well, and to know that it's possible. Because I feel like a lot of times what I feel like Black people kind of suffer from is the fact that we're not always represented, and then we're not always represented well. So to be able to do both at the same time really takes God, because you really get, some people get so immersed with the power and the money and the politics of it all to where they forget, that they forget essentially where they came from and who they really are. So that's what I'm bringing to it as well for the African Americans as well, to let them know that it's always possible, and really it's not really on the outside of you, it's always been within you.
I have a
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, Stefan, how old are you? Not that it matters.
No, I'm 31.
31? Okay, that's a good age, 31. John
How old you
F.
got to
Kennedy.
be? How old you got to? Is that no limit? 31.
I
I thought you had to be 35 to be governor. No, I guess
No,
not.
president.
Huh,
That's president. That's president. I think John F. Kennedy.
For governor, you have to be,
Yeah, I think John
you
F.
have to be 30 years old.
You got to be 30 to run for governor. Is that
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 30. Okay. All right.
Okay, Stefan, what kind of campaign are you running? Do you have a team? You're running on faith? What? Well, tell me the makeup of your campaign.
So both. I'm definitely running on faith. I can't have, the way that God raised me, I can't have anything else. It's just Him. But for sure. So it's myself, of course, me being the candidate. My mother is my campaign manager / treasurer, and for the most part, it's just been me, my mom, and Jesus, and we're running this thing.
Okay.
So that's the team, the dream team.
Yeah,
Dream team, huh? With Mama
Okay.
them.
What part of the state do you live in?
I live in Tampa.
You live in Tampa? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
This is my first time hearing about you. I'll make sure I do my due diligence. And as always, we wish everyone who's willing to put their name on that line and to step up. I wish you well.
Stefan,
thank you.
Stefan,
Yes,
is this your first time in politics, or have you had previous politics experience?
This is my first time running, but as far as my political experience, I've been very much involved in, just like the understanding and the underpinnings of politics and how things work. And so I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of studying myself, yes, for at least the last 5 to 6 years.
Okay. All right. Now, what is it you want the voters up here in Northwest Florida to know about you that you hadn't already spoke about?
Yes, sir. So what I want the voters in Northwest Florida to know is that I'm here. And, my name is Stefan Norman, of course, but also to let you know that, they're not forgotten. I've been doing a lot of research over, the state of Florida. I've been to Miami. I've been to Tallahassee. I've been to Ocala. Oh, actually, I'm on my way to Ocala. I've been to Jacksonville. And I feel like a lot of the times from what I've seen and heard from even the media, the panhandle gets left out of the conversation a lot.
Yep.
And I feel like the only time that that the media really focuses on the panhandle is when it's, a hurricane. So, I want to kind of just, like I said, I'm very, very grateful today for you having me on today, because I want to let them know, the voters in the panhandle, to let them know that, I'm here for them. I see them, I hear them. And, they're on my mind as well. It's not just, just the bigger cities in Florida, and it's not just the capital. They have their own culture, they have their own way of doing things, and I see them and I hear them as well, and I'm fighting for them as well. They're not left out, of any of my plans or any of what I have going on for them as well. What I have going on is for everybody.
I, Jolly is the front runner, I believe, on the Democratic side. You're running as a Democrat, right? You're
Yes,
running
sir.
as a and how many Democratic candidates do you currently have running for governor of Florida? Do you know?
To my knowledge, I believe it's 6, including myself.
Well, you're included in that number. I thought it was a
Correct.
lot more. I thought it was a
For
lot more.
Democrat, Charles, I know, I don't know about the number of Democrats, but I counted them. It's 32 people running for governor of Florida altogether, and Democratic, Republicans, Independents, write-ins, and all that.
It's
The field
32.
is really 32 people,
So
as
so
I
you
counted. They're qualified.
To run,
okay?
correct.
No, okay. I look forward to following your campaign, and I'm just gonna do my research, like Jill Dagg say. I'm gonna do my research. I think you're a good guy. Of course, I'm a Republican, but at the same time, you're a young man, so I I wouldn't do anything to deter you. And I just want to say to you, the experience that you're gaining now
Yeah.
is going to prepare you for the things you're about to do. The door that you're coming through is the door that most of the leaders had to come through. So stick with this. I want you to don't quit, see it through. And if you win, you win. If you don't win, look at all the good and look at sometimes we all make mistakes. I even make them myself. And
No, not you, Charles. Not you, but Charles. But you know, but you know though. But
Thank you,
that's
Mr.
some
Charles.
value. That's some valuable advice. I was listening to somebody just recently. They was talking about mistakes. Mistakes is not bad. Mistakes is learning opportunity. Mistakes is experience.
Correct.
Mistakes is time to make course corrections and stuff like that. So it's good when you fail. We're not saying that you're going to fail at this, but my hats goes off to you, Stefan. Young as you are, that you decided that you want to get into this political fray here, and so and then also being an African American, you're running a grassroots campaign,
Yes, sir.
and so
you are the
anything.
future.
Yeah, exactly
You
right. So
you
Yes, sir.
are.
And I would just like to say as well, that's really a part of what I'm running on as well. I feel like a lot of times what people do is that they want change, but they don't really want to invest in that change. And also the second part of that is that they sometimes think that they can expect change from the same candidate. And I feel like for people who are, that are trying to, push, David Jolly as if he's, this front runner, he's a Democrat when he's been a Republican for over 18 years. And so but he made sure, and after being a independent for a couple of years, then he decided to become a Democrat just last year to be able to run his race as a Democrat this year. And I
Are
feel
you talking
like
about?
I'm sorry?
Are you talking about? Are you talking about Jolly?
Jolly,
Okay.
Jolly.
Correct. Yes. Yes, David Jolly. So from my understanding, I feel like a lot of times what people do is that they think that I'm sorry, something that might be in my eye a little bit, but the point is, what I'm trying to say is that as a true Democrat and as someone who's really working for the everyday worker in Florida, that we have more of now than we have ever had before. We have more hardworking people that are, 9 to 5 people than we do, billionaires and multimillionaires. So that is my audience. That's who I'm fighting for. That's who I am at the end of the day. And I just want people to really know and understand that in order for us to get somewhere different, to go somewhere different, we have to elect someone different. If we keep on electing the same kind of politician, the same kind of person, the same kind of status quo at this point, we're not going to progress any further than we already have. And I don't see the intelligence really in getting rid of one Republican in Ron DeSantis, who's been term limited, to elect another Republican in David Jolly. that doesn't make sense to me at all.
Well,
I'm running on just authenticity. I'm running on, just being who I really am and bringing that to the table, because I want people to know and understand that the most important thing that you would want for your governor to be is for someone to be who they really are, not someone who's trying to masquerade as something that they're not, or try to pander to people that they really had no interest in working with before. But now all of a sudden, 365 days later, now they, after they switch their registry, now they want to be a part of the Cool Kids Club at this point.
I got one more question for you. Since you're running as a serious candidate, does that give you any access to Tallahassee, the Capitol, or have you had an opportunity to do a walkthrough, speak to some people there? Your name is on the list, and a lot of time candidates receive certain access that non-candidates have you went in and tried to exercise that access if it's out there? Have you been to the Capitol to kind of see how?
I have been to the Capitol. Yes, I've been to the Capitol because, of course, we have to go there, to qualify. So we have to turn our paperwork there and things like that. So yeah, I've been there before, yes. But as far as resources and other things like that, no. No one
Access. I'm not talking financial. I'm talking about folks in your own party, people, because everybody has a candidate, but everything should be somewhat nonpartisan until after the primary. So that that even though everyone has individuals, they have candidates, but most organizations just kind of free up something as far as information during the primary. Hoping the best person will win. So look, you may want to look into that. Check with your state party, and let them know you're running, and maybe you can gain some access. Someone was talking to this fellow, and he mentioned that. And,
okay, well, thank you for that. But I know for a fact that, from my understanding, I know that certain certain Floridians, of course, I know, because I don't necessarily have the big name just yet, but at the same time, I do know for a fact that Tallahassee knows that I'm running. So it's not that people don't know. I think that what they're doing, to me, being quite honest with you, is that they've already anointed who they want to put their support behind. So therefore, they've kind of shut everybody who's not that particular candidate out. Because
the only thing you're going to be, not to cut you off, but the only thing you're going to be seeking is information. You're not seeking support, and information is public. It's not private, particularly within your party. If you're a Democrat running, then they should be willing to share information, because if information is public, it's not their information; it's our information. The public.
Stefan, you are running, but you are a Democrat, right? You're running as a Democratic candidate.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, Stefan. Anything else you want to share with us up here in Panhandle?
Lastly, I just wanted to just quickly go over my points as well before I go. Again, my name is Stefan Norman. I'm running for the governor. I have my first point. I call them my FON 5 points. A rent reduction in Florida. I'm sure you guys, have heard, but the rent in Florida has been increasing over the last 5 years, especially under DeSantis, and he's been allowing corporations to price gouge the residents of Florida to the point where it's driving out the elderly, it's driving out seniors, as well as young people to move to states like Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, as well as Texas, because of our high rent rates. And I want to go ahead and see what we can do to change that, because it is possible. Another one of my points is revitalizing education. I want to bring Black history back into American history classrooms. And I also want to make sure that the children know the full grasp of American history. And that includes what Black people went through in order to attain the freedoms that we so gleefully have today. I want to expand Florida healthcare. Under current Governor DeSantis, he denied the Medicaid expansion. So at the time when he did it, 800,000 people were knocked off the health care. And as of today, it's up to about 1.4 million people. So I want to put them, make sure that we can cover our Florida residents from the womb to the tomb, and make sure that they're covered to where they don't have to worry about using the emergency room as their primary care physicians. And, you know, and with all that being said, you know, I want to also let people know that just because something is different does not always mean that a person is inexperienced. And I think what people do have done to me and others, but mainly to myself, is they confuse youth with inexperience. And just because a person is young and just because a person is youthful and they're running for something that has a big ambition does not mean that they have to have all the experience in the world. Because a lot of people that have run for office that are not my skin tone and not my skin color, they've run for office before and they didn't know nothing about what they were doing. They didn't have any idea about what they were getting themselves into. Versus me, with all the information that I have before me and all the research that I've done, I know exactly where I'm going. And when I ascend to my position, I know exactly where to start. So there's no sense of inexperience when it comes to myself and what I bring to the table and what I will bring to the table as governor. And so I just wanted to just let you guys know. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for having me. And, you know, may God continue to bless you and may God continue to bless me as I run this campaign to the top. And again, I am a qualified candidate on the ballot, so you can vote for me on August 18th for the primaries. And I actually will be in Pensacola this week, actually, if I'm not mistaken. I will be there Saturday. There's an event that I've been invited to for a debate, and I will be there. So you want to come and meet me in person, you can see me there.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stefan, and good luck in your bid. And like I say, nothing like running a grassroots campaign and so forth. So good luck. Now, if you got a website that people want to know a little more about you, want to donate to your campaign, anything like that, that they can reference.
Yes, I'll just read it off to you. www.s as in Stefan, N as in Norman, the number 4, F as in Florida, F as in Larry, L as in Larry, governor.org.
Okay, now say it in all one breath.
Okay, www.sn, the number 4, FL, governor.org. And when you go there, you can see all of my bio, my website, as well as a place to donate as well to the campaign to make sure that, you know, we're able to push ourselves all the way up to the primary. So once we win the primary, we can go ahead and push ourselves up to the governor's mansion in November.
They can Google Stefan Norman, and you will probably show up, right? Stefan, Norman. Okay. Stefan
Yes, sir.
Norman.
And it's Stefan with 2 N's.
Okay. Stefan,
STEPHANN. Correct. Yes, sir.
All right, Stefan.
Okay,
thank you, my man. We appreciate you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
All right.
You too now. All right. Charles, it's good to see young folks energized to try to get themselves into the political arena. I got a question for you. Go ahead, Charles.
Go ahead.
No, you continue because I
just want to say to the audience out there, Vernon, to the audience, so they won't get it twisted. You know, I am the vice chair of the Assembly County Republican Party, but when I come on this show on Wednesday morning, before I became the vice chair, I was a political pundit. I used to come on here, and I've always done politics. So a lot of times on my Wednesday morning show, I take that partisan hat off, and I'm acting in the role of a political pundit based on my political experience. So don't get it mixed up. I'm not anti anything, and I'm still the vice chair. But more than that, I'm a political pundit. I've been in politics most of my life, so I want the audience to know I don't always operate from that partisan side.
Yeah, I know, Charles. I want folks to, you know, make it clear. You're a co-host here on Wednesday morning. You're not coming here, and even though I'm gonna stick it to you as being a Republican, but you're a co-host. You're not coming here as a Republican pundit or anything like that. You help host the show on Wednesday morning, and I appreciate that. And the reason because you got some perspective that we don't get a chance to see, and I want to hear I want to hear it. I didn't name it the other side for no reason. I named it the other side because there is the other side, and we want to hear about the other side. But can I move on, Charles? I got a question for you.
Oh yeah. Oh
Well,
yeah.
How come y'all threw out Jolly out of the Republican Party?
You know,
Y'all expelled him, didn't you?
Jolly stuck. I think at that particular time, Jolly he woke up one morning and he stuck his hand out the window, and the wind was blowing to the left, and so and you got some folks, Vernon, they go to bed. And everything calm. They wake up and the wind blowing a certain way, and they follow the wind. So yeah. And he went over there and he took over. We didn't throw him out. We have a really big tent, even big enough for Jolly. But Jolly,
I'm curious though. I know he left the Republican Party and went independent for a while. What happened? I think was Trump the common denominator? And that was the reason he left the party. What happened? You think
I don't want to mislead you this audience to say something that I don't know. I really don't know. I would have to research that, Vernon. But I'm thinking something happened probably back during between the time Trump was first in office or something like that. But I don't know that to be a fact. I would say to the audience, I will research and find out why he left the party. Maybe we became too Christian. Maybe we became too Christian oriented for him or something.
Oh, okay. Maybe y'all came too righteous since y'all was on the right. Maybe y'all came too righteous for him. Okay, he got to be on the Democrat. You know what, Charles? You know the right, righteous, and D for demon for Democrat for demon. What did Trump name him? Well, I ain't go over there with Trump name.
But something happened. But he's done well over on the Democratic side. And
that sounds familiar to you, Charles.
What's that? What? But being right.
I know. I got a friend of mine that switched parties. He wasn't doing so well in the Democratic Party, but when he switched to the Republican Party, he became a superstar. I ain't called no names, but I kind of understand that.
I think I know that guy.
And is he a pretty good guy, Charles?
Yeah, I think I know that guy, and I think the way he got there was through hard work. He just not a face. He has his own voice. Yeah.
Before we run out of time, Charles, I gotta ask you this, because I know in 2018, you was I don't know. You weren't a Republican then. I think you was a Democrat.
I was a Republican. Yeah, I was a Republican.
Were you? Okay, in 2018. Yeah. Okay, I want to ask you about our good friend.
I was a Republican.
Gillum. He's going through some issues. I guess you heard about his arrest over in Daphne and stuff like that. And you think politics is so dramatic that it drove the man to drugs or something like that? That he have other issues.
I was a Republican, but I attended a barbecue thing for Andrew over there on Mobile Highway, and I wasn't going to vote for him because I was a Republican, but he was a phenomenon. He was Mayor of Tallahassee. Washington D.C. was very fond of him, and I was talking to somebody else today. I think in politics, when you lose, you really don't lose. And I try to tell people all that. You need to take that experience and move on. All he had to do was just maintain where he was at, hold that position, and he could have grew in the party. He could have ran again. He could have done that. But some reason, I hate it when people, they run for an office, they don't win, then they give up. Why were you running? Because whatever you had to help.
Yeah. I mean, that guy had a bright future ahead of him. He was a bright, he was a great mayor of Tallahassee. He had a bright future ahead of him. What happened?
He was the chosen one, Vernon. I think what happened is once he lost, and this is just Charles talking. I think he got to a fork in the road. and the fork says, "Okay, I want," and I think he just, I believe he smoked something or took something or snorted something. He done something or somebody. I think it was the people who he had surrounded himself with. You have to be careful, not just in politics, but in life. Because no matter how hard you are, or know how smart you are, or something, if you get around certain influences, they're going to have an effect on you, Vernon. I think he instead of associating up, what he should have done, he elevated his peer group down, and they got him caught on something. And drug is a powerful thing. Whatever he was on, it was a powerful thing. He needed someone closer to him that cared about him. And you got to make sure that people are not draining you for who you are and what you are, because once they drain you, they'll drain you down to that level. So what he done, something influenced him, because I don't think he was that person when he was running. He lost. He went into a deep funk. It'll either make you or break you, but it's something personal that happened in his life, and he had no one there to save him. And instead, they encouraged him. People will wear you down, running it, and he made some bad.
You got to be able to cope, and maybe that was his trying to way of coping. That's what people do sometimes. They turn to substance stuff to help them cope with situations and
music. Yeah, you're right. Musician does it. Big money folks does it. All types of people when they reach a certain level, and going up is nice, but coming down, you're used to it. A lot of people just can't deal when you've been on top for so long, brother. And a lot of people can't deal with that. A lot of folks can't deal with it, and he had a fall. And one mistake leads to the next mistake, and the next thing you know, you're at rock bottom. I always tell folks, please, before you hit rock bottom, call somebody. On the way down, it's okay to hit a bump, but
Charles,
don't.
That you made a profound statement in, and that's something that we need to work on in our community. Is that we need to seek counseling for whatever our demons are.
Yeah.
For some reason, counseling in the Black community is a kryptonite. I don't understand why. It's the same way with Black men getting prostate exam. Certain things with stupidity. We just don't do things sometimes out of stupidity. Counseling is good therapy for people, but in the Black community, we associate counseling with being crazy, and nobody wants to be identified as being crazy.
No.
Yeah.
You're right, Vernon, and all kinds of senators, governors, presidents, all types of people. You'll be surprised at the people who suffer from different types of depression and this and that, and the positions that they are in. And the way they maintain is that through counseling. And we're operating at sometimes at a lower level, but we refuse counseling because we don't want a stigma. And I tell people all the time, you can tell a person who has a disability when they're walking around in a wheelchair, broken arm, this, that, and other. But the mental piece is something only a counselor. And then we go to medical doctors for everything,
exactly,
but that ails us. But when our mind, our memory, and certain things, and our attitude and stuff, we don't deal with it. Everyone has trigger points. So the main thing for counseling is to help you deal with your trigger points. We all have things that trigger us. And if you don't deal with those things, they're going to exacerbate and they're going to expand, and that's what's going to bring you down.
Charles, and you're on point. You're on point with that. And but what can we do in our community to help educate people to know that it's okay? Everybody dealing with something, and and I guess the extent of it is, the intensity of it go from individual to individual, but it's okay. We like to go where we have issues instead of going to a trained professional. It's okay to go to your pastor, okay? But sometimes the pastor's not trained in psychology, and sometimes the pastor's not trained as being a counselor. They can listen to you and so forth. But I hope more pastors would, when they counsel individuals that come to them with issues, whether we're talking about domestic abuse, we're talking about divorces, we're talking about any other demons that people dealing with, I'm hoping that they're referring them to professional counselors that we can deal with it. And sometimes, Charles, we don't think that our issue warrant that level of intervention. I don't need to go to a counselor. I don't need to go to a professional. But you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how trained professionals can help guide your life. And sometimes we're not able to. The problem that I see, Charles, in some situations, that sometimes people cannot see that their behavior is an issue. Okay, and that is the tough part, when we're failing to recognize you got a problem, and you're not going to be able to seek help until you recognize it. And then people that do recognize it sometimes don't seek help. So we're gonna have to educate them in some kind of way. So how do we tackle that?
One thing, there are support groups out there, right? This and that, this something. Me myself, it's no secret. I had prostate cancer. I had it taken
Me too, Charles.
I had it taken care of, and there are support groups out there. There's prostate support groups, and I can't get my schedule to attend one, but I do all the things I need to do to maintain that. There are all types of groups. Some churches have the men's meet on Sunday, or a counseling group. But what we need to do when we have these things, we need to invite professional counselors, maybe to our meeting, and then we need to take that out into the community. Even with parents, we got to tear away that stigma that's behind that, because that's what gets you to a healing process, and we got, if the parents has a stigma with counseling, you're not going to be able to talk to children in the counseling. I don't want my child getting this, because a lot of them just afraid the child going to say something in counseling.
Yeah,
that they don't want them, that child going to tell it. They think the child is going to go in there and talk on me, talk about them. So that becomes more important than the child, afraid of what the child is going to say. And so we're going to have to start living our life and doing the things. And I'm not saying we're not, to a point where we care more about our children than we care about the stigma. Because if we can't save ourselves, if we can't save adults, at least we need to start getting these young folks counseling. And there are units out there, and I'm sure that there's a lot of funding. We get a lot of funding for everything, but I don't think there's a group for counseling. Not just ministerial. Ministerial is good, but we need folks that are licensed and stuff in our community to come in. We need the school system and everything. If they see that behavior, they need to make counseling a part of that, what they call, I don't call it punishment, but make it part of whatever they render. Okay, you're going to have so much. This child has a behavior problem. So what we recommend is that you have so much counseling, then get the report back, not based on substance, but we need a certificate of attendance, because the parents don't want a lot of the parents, this is not blanket, don't want their child to go, because they don't want their child to talk about the condition that they're in. They're afraid that child is going to say something. But if you live your life to a certain point, maybe that'll help straighten the house up. If you get the child, because young folks, they gonna talk, they go, and I think that's one thing. You got to get counseling. We have them playing football, we have them playing basketball. We do everything, but it's Yeah, I call it in the VA, and I tell them over there all the time. I say, so many people are falling through the crack. You know, that's the crack that people's fall through. The counseling piece, because you're looking at folks in wheelchairs and blah blah blah, and arm broke off. But there, and thank God the VA has put more emphasis. It's beginning to put a little bit more emphasis
on mental health,
on mental health, and mental health is it's a sickness, and I don't know whether it's a disease or not, but it's and it has reached the point while the young folks are suffering from PTSD, from whatever the environment, the people that they deal with on the outside. I'm not trying to come up, I'm just saying we identify the problem, but every time you look at something like the shooting or whatever, a lot of it is mental. We teach them to win at all costs. And that's what we got it. You don't always have to win. You don't always have to win to win. I've done a lot of things, Vernon, and I I know the song say we're a winner, but I'm just a combination of all my failures, all the things that I've been through. I'm just, when you see me, you see me here, but what got me here, not necessarily my victories, but my failures.
Failures. Well said, John. Well said.
I really can't count too many victories.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Failures, all failures eventually going to equal to victories.
Yeah, and that's the way. But we don't want them to fail just because. If you look at me, I wasn't the smartest kid in school. I really, and I worked real hard, and that's what we have to do. We got to make sure that if we got an average student, each child is worth saving in spite of. I don't want to jump ship on something different, but that's what we're going to have to do, Vernon. I think if we can get that counseling piece in, but we need the parents to buy off on that, and we need the county and the other groups to support that.
And it, Charles, it's so important that we get it for the kids, because we can at least manage. We can require it for the kids. So we, as parents, we can make kids go through certain things.
Yeah.
But the other piece of it is that an adult needs to recognize and respect the power of counseling, and whenever issues that they go through, they should also. Yes, Mr. Porter calling me. I can't talk right now, but anyway, they should also consider dealing with these issues. And Charles, as you were saying, the problem is that we don't sometimes identify with internal issues, mental, what we call, and I think maybe it's all in the word, and that word mental it denotes something negative. Okay, so maybe let's start using internal issues as opposed to mental issues, because internally, externally, we know what's wrong. If you break your leg, I know. If you got a toothache, you know what I'm saying. If you need surgery, you need heart, that kind of stuff. You know physical kinds of issues that we deal with. But sometimes the internal, quote unquote, mental issues that we can't, the issues that we can't see, is generally like the tip of an iceberg. Okay, tip of an iceberg. So we necessarily need counseling on that. Charles, I want to change when you finish your comment on that. I want to turn the tune to what happened this weekend. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. But go ahead, finish your thought on this mental issue.
No. I just want to say we see it all the time. We see it with people walking up down the street in the middle of summer with coats on, pushing carts and stuff like that. All that's mental, all that. But we can't help them, but we got to be able to help our young folks. Because they're suffering from something. They're suffering mentally, a lot of them, not all the time. And everything is not payback. The best way to pay someone back or to get even is through success. Whatever your failure is, you don't blame it on no one. because we have a tendency in life to blame things. Look what our four parents went through, Vernon. Look at what they did. Look at the things that they went through. But anyway,
but Charles, like you said now, a failure is nothing but a step to success. Okay, that's all it is.
Yeah, as long as you don't quit, I'm gonna fail again. Go try. Go. Keep on.
That's what failing's about. That's what you. That's what you do. That's what you fail again. But you know that the thing that I think that if people don't learn from their failure, that's the problem. As long as you it's okay to fail. Okay, it's okay to fail. Because we all do that. But the problem is you need to analyze it and say, why did I fail? And learn from that failure and then improve on that.
Improve on it.
But if you don't learn from your failure, then you
if you give up. If you fail,
you give up. Right, exactly.
If you fail, the old saying, winner never wins and a winner never quits. But if you don't give up. And sometimes it's something that happened to you in your life, and you come to a fork in the road. One fork say, "The hell with that. I'm just gonna fall into this." And the other fork things say, "Well, I learned a little bit. I'm gonna keep moving." Always go with the side that says, "Keep moving, keep learning, and surround yourself with individuals who are gonna support you in your effort." And never seek it. And I tell folks all the time, try not to seek advice. If you're trying to do something, try not to seek advice from someone who has never done anything. It's not a subject matter, because some folks they want somebody to agree with them. They just want, I wouldn't do that. And then you look at it,
I tell folks all the time, what if Thomas Edison, I read this, he failed at inventing that light bulb, 80, 90 times, something like that. Suppose he quit. We've been sitting in the dark, wouldn't we?
We wouldn't have no light.
Yeah, we've been sitting in the dark. If Henry Ford quit trying to make that car, we wouldn't be driving the car, transportation. If Martin Luther King decided that, this is too hard for me, I'm not going to do what I'm going to do. Yeah, you can't quit.
We would have our freedom that we have today. The things that we're able to do today, we would not be able to do, even though his life was on the line. He never
exactly.
He said, I've been to the mountaintop.
Yeah.
I looked over, I've seen, and look at that motivation and that motivation. So you gotta keep on trying.
Keep on keeping on. Charles, let's talk about this weekend. This is something we're gonna have to do in our community. This mass shooting that we had this weekend downtown involving kids, okay? 14 to 19-year-old kids, children, okay? And resulted in a fatality, and then 6 people being injured over some crap, Charles, what can we do about this problem?
Well, I'm not an expert, and my hat's off to the
PJ family and everybody else that got.
And my sentiments to the family. One thing, we as a community, and when I say we, I mean the government entities, the city, the county, the school system, the parents. One thing we have to do is we have to look at when we look at each incident, a lot of times what we do, this is Charles talking, we come up with solutions and we throw certain things at what we call a solution before we identify the problem. I remember I was in the Air Force. I was part of the total quality management thing. And they taught us that the first thing you do is you identify the problem. You brainstorm what the problem is. And you may find that problem is not something you want to deal with. It may not be a convenient problem. And once you identify the problem, then you look at the stakeholders, the people involved. It may be the family, maybe a system, maybe gang violence, maybe this. But once you identify it, Vernon, you got to tackle that.
Yep.
And what we do, we talk about it. Sometimes we throw money at it. Sometimes we throw kind words at it. We we as a community, and not just Pensacola. So I don't want nobody to think I'm pointing fingers. A lot of time I think we talk about, we come up with solutions before we come up with problems. We go curfews, this, that, and the other. Now, and is that going to solve the problem? What is the problem? The problem is young folks are doing certain things, and the first line of defense is the parents. Either it's adults that's aware. You got to make it to a point where these parents and these folks who know can align to somewhere they can tell or make it comfortable enough, because sometimes they become afraid of the kids that to go in, and you got to stop it where it starts. And that's what we need. We need to identify the problem and whatever we need to do to fix it that's affecting our young people. And I'm gonna tell you, Vernon, a lot of it lays on the steps of these individuals' home, and then it expands from there. It expands from there, and
can you imagine though?
Huh?
Yeah, I agree with you in that. You know, when you got a 14-year-old child out at 1:30 in the morning, Charles, that's an issue for I'm concerned. You should know where you remember the old commercial had, do you know it's 12 o'clock, you know where your children are thing? You remember when you told me, y'all city folks told me, y'all, when the street light you had to be in when the street light came on, and country folks saying you had to be in the house when it get dark, stuff like that. What happened to that, Charles?
Yeah, because you could be out playing in the dirt because we didn't have pavement, and but you can be outside playing and stuff like that. But you have to be at home when the lights came on. Yeah. But what in some cities and in some cases I've seen, if we keep this up, Vernon, I hate to say it, but at some point in time, we may have to look at making parents responsible.
How do you propose that going to happen? In your head?
I don't know. Someone would have to look into that. You give the parents a little bit of responsibility. I'm not saying lock them up. But
you know, Charles,
you got to give. We probably going to have to eventually put some responsibility on parents. If they can't raise their kid, put them somewhere where they can be raised, because the parents are the only one making out in this deal. And my hat goes off to the parents. My hat goes off, but our parents would not dare. And my granddaddy, they would come. I mess up. He would come whoop me in the middle of the night. I'd be in there sleep, thinking I done got away with it. We can't do that now. I remember.
Charles, okay, let me tell you this. I think the answer to it is we got to go back to some of the old school parenting. True story. Now, my dad raised 10 kids. I thought my daddy was the meanest man in the world and the strictest man in the world. Now, I used to stay with his mama, my grandmama, and she had this saying, Charles, all the time: "Out of time is the devil's workshop," and I guess she must have instilled that into my daddy. Because he did not believe, trust me, Charles, he did not believe in idle time. If you were around him and we wasn't busy, he gonna find make-do work for you to do. I'm serious. You know, on the 4th of July, we couldn't go out to go to ball games. He had something for us to do. I can remember, Charles, when we was out. This is a true story, so help me God. I remember one New Year's Day. Okay, one New Year's Day, it was got bright sunny day. Okay, and as long as you're in the house, you're okay under control. But when it is weather, but one sunny day on a New Year's Day, Charles, and we was out playing and out in the sun and all this kind of stuff. And my daddy couldn't stand for us to have idle time. He made us go down and scrap. You know what scrap cotton is? You know what scrapping is? Well, scrapping is. Yeah, those you pick cotton. There's three phases when you do pick cotton, right? You pick it in August when the bowls are green and they first start opening. You get that first wave in August time frame, and then in September time frame when the cotton go in full bloom and full blossom, then you get the majority of it. October, then you get a little bit that's left, but there's always going to be some bowls on the cotton. It's going to be late bloomers even after you finish your sitting. Then those blooms open, and that means it's just a few scraps there you have to go on each stalk. And so, but it's not enough cotton worth harvesting, right? Well, my daddy knew that, but for make do work, he would make us go down to the fields when we wasn't doing anything and scrap that cotton. Cotton he could never gin, cotton he could never sell, but it was make do work. We wasn't busy work, just busy work. Wasn't doing that. He would make us pull weeds out of the field or something like that. He would make us pick up a car. There was no free time. And I asked my dad one day, Charles, when I got grown enough I didn't. And I used to run around. It used to be four of us, Charles, Samp, and Larry, and myself. And so they had freedom. I didn't have freedom. And they could do what they wanted to do, and they could go where they want to go and everything. And so I asked my dad, I said, when I got grown, I had enough nerve to ask him, Dad, you were so hard on us and you're so hard on me. Why did you do that? And his answer to me, Charles, was, well, number one, your friend Charles, he's dead at 18 years old.
Okay.
Your friend Larry, he's in jail. And your friend Sam is on drugs. Now look at you. Look at some stuff you are. Okay. Well, that's true to a sense. But what he didn't tell you that my friend Charles died of cancer at 18. That's the reason he's dead. My friend Larry was in jail because he didn't pay child support. And my friend Sap, he was on prescription drugs. But anyway, that was his point. Was that I kept you busy. And I guess my point is too, I see the value. I do see the value in it. That's why I think that parents should get their kids involved in some kind of activities, after school activities, or get them involved in a baseball team or karate or something like that, a baseball or football, or get them a part-time job. To a degree, I agree they should have some leisure time, but free time when the parents are not there and they're unsupervised, that leads to issues, and I think that's part of the problem. And to have a 14-year-old unaccounted for after midnight was totally unacceptable. But in these days, we gotta have to go back to some parenting like that to help the problem. They're not gonna solve it, but they're gonna help the problem.
Gonna help the problem because they used to have just a little simple saying a few years back. It's 11 o'clock at night. You know where your kids are. They used to have the thing. Do you know where your kids are? And now I don't know this to be a fact, but I was told that there are parents now who are dropping their kids off in certain places, and they may go dance the night away or eat out the night away or do certain things, and then they just drop them off at a spot, and the kids just free to roam. And these are young kids. You don't do that to young kids. I worked during the day, went to school. In the evening, guess what? We had the house I grew up in had a big old hallway. I was constantly sweeping the hallway, sweeping the room, sweeping up under the rug. Then after that, I would go in the kitchen and I would help out. It was like, and then after that, I would go to church, and I couldn't go out on a date until I was about 18, 16, 17. And I was just, they kept me busy. They just kept me busy. And I'm going to tell you, I turned 18. I didn't go to church for 10 years. I
had to go to church too, Charles. We had to go to church.
I was 28 when I went back to church.
Charles, your church experience, I did go to church because it was ingrained in me. I didn't think, but your church was like my collard green. My mama used to cook some form of greens every day. If it was collard greens, it was cabbage greens, it was turnip greens, some kind of. I got so mad when I left home. I said I ain't never eat nothing green again. And for a long time, I did not eat collard greens for a long time, just for that reason, John. We're gonna have to get out of here, John. But
10 years, brother, I was in the wilderness.
No wonder you a heathen then, child. And your dad was your granddad. Was it your dad or your granddad was a preacher?
My daddy, it's my granddaddy. Yeah,
your granddad was a preacher.
my daddy was a preacher, but my granddaddy raised me. Yeah.
Okay. So
my grandma.
Your granddad was a preacher and a reacher, child.
He was a preacher and he was a reacher. They say he done a little bit of both, and
he was a Rolling Stone, Charles.
Now, I'm gonna tell you, my daddy wasn't no joke. But anyway, that's my daddy.
Yeah. Well, we all got to respect. My dad was a family man, but he was a richer child. I have to tell you. Let me tell you, my siblings get mad at me if they hear me telling this story. But my dad was a reacher now, okay? And this is a true story, Charles. And then we got to go. We got to get out of here. My mom was getting on him one time about philandering, okay? And you know what his response to her was? He said, baby, he was kind of a little high that day. I can't help cause these women love me. I can't help cause they love me.
But Vernon, that's why you always talk to me about being a preacher. My daddy was my example. So that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm saying. And Vernon, in the name of the Lord.
Name of the Lord. Okay. Charles, I got to go. We got to go.
Forgive me, folks. Forgive me.
All
right, Vernon.
Don't
we'll
get me
I'm gone.
Charles.
I'm out.
Don't get me. You're going to get me choked up here. But anyway, Charles, I'll see you on next. I'll see you
all right,
next
see you
Wednesday,
next week.
okay?
See you next week. All right.
Okay. Have a great day. All right, Pascal, thank you. And my buddy Charles. He's my co-host on Wednesday at 8 o'clock every Wednesday. Y'all know we went a little over, but that's okay. What else I got to do on a Wednesday morning, okay? All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow on another edition of Morning with Vernon. Get your coffee cup and join me at 6:30,
It's Wednesday.
okay?
Hump Day. Have a wonderful Wednesday with Morning with Vernon.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1,